Welcome to Speaking Cinema, serious movie Jibber Jabber, a movie podcast coming to you live from Toshi Station in Hollywood, California, with a fresh set of power converters. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Speaking Cinema, also on Instagram and Tumblr, Speaking Cinema. If you want to listen to us, you can listen to us on iTunes and Stitcher, SoundCloud, or through your favorite R2 unit. Many Bothans died to bring you this podcast.
Sorry, Bothans.
I am your host, Darth Jibber Jabber. With me, as always, is everyone's favorite non-blinking Ewok, Kevin.
Yep.
This week on the Jibber Jabber, The Force Awakens, the most anticipated movie of 2015, the Star Wars Episode VII, The Force Awakens.
Yes.
Starring Star Wars newcomers John Boyega, Daisy Ridley, Oscar Isaac, Adam Driver, Andy Serkis, Gwendolyn Christie, Domhnall Gleeson, Lupita Nyong'o, and Max von Sydow. Sydow? I've heard it both ways.
Sydow.
Returning to the galaxy far, far away are Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, Peter Mayhew, Anthony Daniels, Kenny Baker, and Warwick Davis. Yeah.
The stacked cast, when you really kind of stand back and look at it.
Stacked cast and stacked everything else. Directed by J.J. Abrams, written by J.J. Abrams and Empire Strikes Back screenwriter Lawrence Kasdan. Produced by Lucasfilm, Bad Robot, distribution by Disney. Kathleen Kennedy is in there somewhere. Producing.
The head of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy.
In typical J.J. Abrams fashion, the plot details are being kept very close to the vest, and unlike normally, I don't want to know about this movie.
I'm happy with it, not knowing much.
And begrudgingly, I do know that it is confirmed that this movie takes place 30 years after the Return of the Jedi, real-time sequel. Do enjoy that. It features a galactic conflict between the First Order and the Resistance. Episode 7 is the first in a new trilogy of Star Wars films being produced by Disney. These films were made possible after Disney bought Lucasfilm for $4.05 billion back in October of 2012. Kathleen Kennedy became the new head of Lucasfilm and personally courted J.J. Abrams to direct this movie after he initially turned it down. Other directors who were considered to be Brad Bird, Matthew Vaughn, and David Fincher. Rian Johnson, director of Brick and Looper, has already signed on to direct and write Episode 8. And Jurassic World helmer Colin Trevorrow will be in charge of Episode 9. So we got 3. But wait, there's more. Disney has also announced a slate of anthology, quote-unquote, films that will tell other stories in the Star Wars universe not on this main path, outside of the main saga. Gareth Edwards of Godzilla fame will be directing Rogue One, about a rebel team attempting to steal the plans for the Death Star. The many Bothans that died will be presumably in this movie. Phil Lord and Chris Miller are directing a film about young Han Solo. They are, of course, of the Lego movie fame. And 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street.
Cloudy with the Chance of Meatballs.
Yeah. And there's one more in development that was to have been directed by Josh Trank of Fantastic Four, infamy, but he decided to walk away and/or was fired, but truthfully was fired from the project. No word on what that film was about. No word on who's going to direct it as of this recording. We're recording this, by the way, on September 26th, so way before it comes out.
Yeah, the rumor was that it's a Boba Fett story, like not necessarily origin, but after Return of the Jedi, Boba Fett. But yeah, they've pushed that down to actually past Episode 9, so that one has been delayed for some time.
We'll see what happens. By the time you hear this recording, Episode 7 will be in theaters. Go see it in IMAX if possible, as scenes were filmed in honest-to-goodness IMAX cameras. Regardless, go see it on the biggest, best screen that you could find. If you're going to have to drive... Listen, we're all going to see this fucking movie, right? So you might as well see it on theater number 1 or theater number 12, however your theaters are laid out. The big ones, you know what I mean? Don't see it on theater 6 in the back corner.
Yep.
You know?
That's for ride along.
Yeah. That's for like Snow White and the Huntsman in week 6 of release. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Don't see it on that screen. See it big. We want it big. Obviously, we've heard of this movie. We've been talking about it. We've been fantasizing about it for our whole lives. What did you think when they first announced that this happened? And I mean, basically, we're taking us back to October of 2012 when it was announced that Disney's buying Lucasfilm, because they ain't buying it just to have it around.
No. And they announced that day, like, it was Disney buys Lucasfilm. Guess what? There's a new trilogy of Star Wars movies coming out. Like, that was same news day. That was completely shocking news, I thought.
Right.
George Lucas selling something, I don't believe it.
And, I mean, I'm into, like, the Hollywood news sites, like your Deadlines and your Slash Films and your
Collider,
etc., Hollywood Reporter, and this was not something that was, I feel like, rumored at the time. This was something that
this came out of nowhere.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure there's some people on the inside who knew about it. I think, and we'll get into this in a minute, there's some secrets that we don't know about it. But what'd you think?
Like I said, I was absolutely floored that George Lucas would give away his absolutely biggest property. And I said that had to have been for tons of money, and then I looked up, and it was for tons of money. So, but yeah, I was excited. I was nervous about who they were going to get to be in charge of it. I had a lot of feelings about it as a diehard Star Wars fan from like the day I was born, basically. It was, it was big news, no question about it.
Yeah, when they first announced it, I was very trepidatious because in the year 1997, when they announced more Star Wars movies, and then we waited 2 long years for it to come out, and it was a steaming pile of terrible. I really soured my love of Star Wars. Not my love of Star Wars, but my desire for anything new.
Yeah.
So, very apprehensive when the announcement came out. You know what I mean? But second thing, I was like, whoa, this is weird, because, the first Star Wars movie was made by 20th Century Fox with Lucas. So they funded it, he made it. The success of those movies and him controlling the toy option of the franchise.
Whoops, Fox. Whoops.
They didn't know.
They didn't know. Hey, would you have banked on it? It's hard to say.
Yeah.
At that time.
Yeah. So, if someone said, "Hey, we're gonna make the movie. It's called Midnight Meat Train. Do you want the toy rights to it?" I'd be like, "Nah, get past." You know what I'm saying? It was like that kind of scenario. So he financed all the other Star Wars movies independently and just distributed them through Fox, which was his partner on that. I mean, I think all of the movies, or not all of them, but a lot of the movies that he's directed. I think his last movie was Red Tails. That came out through Fox.
Well, he didn't direct that.
Well, didn't he?
No.
Oh, okay.
He was heavily involved in producing.
Yeah. Well, same with the Star Wars movies.
Yep.
Yeah. So his partner was always Fox, and through Fox they licensed it to Disney for Star Tours and yada yada yada. It was a healthy franchise. So the fact that the story that it came out with was that there was no bidding. Right? He just went to Disney one day, said, "Hey, I'm going to retire. Do you guys want to buy this? I'll sell it to you for $4.5 billion." And they said, "Okay." That story to me is completely unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
I gotta think that. Yeah, right. I gotta think that Fox, he had to have tried to sell it to Fox, sell it to Disney, sell it to everybody, see who did what. Also, I don't remember the dude's name, but right after he's at Sony now. Right after that announcement came out, a couple months later, the CEO of Fox was let go, or of the president of productions. Some top dog was let go, and he went to Sony. So it's like, I gotta think that there was just fallout from that. You know what I mean? Like,
has to be.
Fox lost this huge property. Not that they were gonna do anything. I mean, maybe they would have done something with it if he had sold it to them outright. You know what I mean? I don't think at the time. I don't think that Disney would have bought it if Lucas is like, "I want to make more of these." I think that's a hard pass.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I was just shocked at that news.
Yeah, the fact that, the 20th Century Fox theme is almost a Star Wars theme because every single Star Wars movie is open with it. Episode 7 is going to be the first one without it. We don't know what that opening credits theme is going to be. So, yeah, it was just absolutely earth-shattering news. And then I remember going, I really hope they don't get J.J. Abrams for this thing. But I've kind of turned around on that thought. Because I thought... So yeah, obviously, about a year later, would you say J.J. Abrams was announced as a director?
Sure, yeah.
And I remember my knee-jerk reaction was like, God damn it. Like, you didn't even try. It's like that was such an obvious choice. I was like, I wanted Brad Bird. I wanted Matthew Vaughn. I want anybody but JJ. JJ did Star Trek. I don't want him. But the more I learned about how he's much more of a Star Wars fan growing up, how much
You're famously not a Star Trek fan at all.
Yeah, very famously not a Star Trek fan. Doesn't like the prequels, or at least the aesthetic of the prequels. He's outright come out and said, "I hate them."
So
basically,
So you're not a fan. You're not a fan of J.J. Abrams.
I like some of his stuff, but I just thought the announcement of him as a Star Wars director, I was like, you didn't even think about who else was out there. I felt that was such a knee jerk, but it turns out they actually did. Apparently, Brad Bird was like this close to signing on to it, but decided to do Tomorrowland because he said you don't get a chance to do original movies very often.
Based on the land at Disneyland.
Exactly. Based on a ride. But
but you think he has the chops to do it?
I think he can pull it off. I think he knows he's a Star Wars fan, but not a Star Wars fanboy, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I think he understands what really makes Star Wars work.
I was nervous about it. We'll speak on the trailer later. But I saw this interview, and someone asked him, how many people shoot at the Mos Eisley Cantina? And he's like, there was one shot. Which to me, now if you're not following along, that means that in his mind's eye, Han Solo in cold blood shoots Greedo first, and Greedo does not shoot first, which was one of the worst reverse decisions that I've ever seen in any movie ever. Mm-hmm. So I do think that we're in good hands, and it does seem like, to play off what you just said, he's a fan, and a fan in a way that he's like, I can't mess this up. Everyone has to work hard on this. We can't get it mixed up with studio politics. Like, this has to be done right. You know?
We can't just fart it out.
Yeah. Kind of like the guy who directed... Who's the guy who directed the first X-Men movie?
Bryan Singer.
Kind of like Bryan Singer in the X-Men, where he's like, I love the X-Men. We have to get this right. We can't fuck this up.
And that turned out all right.
Every movie that he's been a part of, it's turned out all right. Yep. You know what I mean? So I do think that is a benefit to the franchise that he is such a fan. And I think we'll talk about it more when we get into the trailer. So let's table this for 1 second. When did Star Wars become part of your life?
I mean, I can't think of a time where it wasn't part of my life. We had the original VHS box set. It was like black with the old poster art on it, mm-hmm. and it had all 3 movies, and then a making of documentary, which that blew my mind. It's like, oh, they actually made this thing.
It was one of the first movies where people, like, it was like in the day, it was like, because people were so into it, there was always like that like element of how we made this, mm-hmm. and they were very proud of how they made it. So there's always that. So it's very interesting.
And yeah, I had the toys. We watched the movies constantly. They were always, and my parents liked them too. They grew up with them. So, like, they were also into Star Wars, not as much as me, but, and I remember when they re-released it, Empire Strikes Back came out on my birthday,
wow.
February 21st, 1998, and made my dad wait a half hour in line to get tickets for that night, but me and a bunch of my friends, we went and saw the restored Empire Strikes Back on my birthday, so that'll always be a special moment for me.
Happy birthday. I hope you like dance numbers.
Empire Strikes Back was kind of the least altered of those 97, 98 cuts.
Yeah, at least shitted on. Yeah.
Yeah, they added a little bit more of the Wampa, which I'm fine with. They show him like gnawing on shit. And that's really all they added to it.
Yeah, they cleaned it up.
Yeah,
that's about it.
Yeah, the cleanup's fine. Added a few extra coming into Cloud City shots, but other than that, it's pretty intact.
I remember vividly seeing the Star Wars movies for the first time. I was probably in like 2nd or 3rd grade on a rainy day. We had a minimum day, Wednesdays, minimum day, and it was raining, so we watched all the Star Wars movies in a week.
Wow.
And I was like, I think I saw Empire first, and then Jedi, and then Star Wars. But we always had a cultural knowledge of it. The toys were still in the store. They were next to G.I. Joe, next to Mortal Kombat. There was always Star Wars. So we always had, we had that culture. Like, I knew that Darth Vader was Luke's father before I saw Darth Vader on screen. You know what I mean? And then we had a rummage sale at the school one time, and someone brought in, like, there's this huge area with all Star Wars toys, like all the classic ones from the 70s and the 80s. So I got a AT-AT from, like, back in the day. So that was pretty cool.
Killer.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So,
and it's still a thing, like, I was at work and our president brought in his son, who is like 4 or 5, mm-hmm. and he has a backpack, and he opened his backpack. What's it full of? Star Wars toys. He's got Darth Vader, he's got Chewbacca, he's got Boba Fett, he's got the Emperor, he's got Luke Skywalker, he's got everybody, and it's like, it still is a thing.
Well, I read a book, it's called How Star Wars Took Over the Universe, And it seems to have ebbed and flowed over the years. You know, it's like in the 70s it was hot, then it went down a little bit, and then Empire came back up and it went back up. And, you know, it's kind of gone, I think in the 90s is actually a low point, technically. But, which is weird. I feel like I'm very biased because I grew up in an area where, like, all the dudes in my school like Star Wars, right? Me and my friends who were, like, the more nerdy, like, you know, pop culture people were really into it. Everyone else liked it, but they weren't really into it, you know what I mean? Like, they had, like, baseball cards or some other fucking garbage. And so, but, like, girls, dude, did not like Star Wars, right? Like, that was dumb boy stupid shit. But then every girl that I meet now who is my age or older or younger is totally into Star Wars. So, like, I lived in this weird pocket in the Bay Area of Catholic girls who hated Star Wars. And it's just like, I think it was like my school only. You know what I mean?
That sounds like the title of a Cramps album.
Yeah,
or a
bro.
Black Flag album.
Yeah, bro. And so it's a weird thing where I think I lived in just a very small weird pocket of people who were like didn't like this thing. Like they actively didn't like it. You know what I mean? And I remember meeting my girlfriend and there was I think there was a Lonely Island song, you know, that had a reference to Star Wars, and I started explaining it to her. She's like, "No, I get it. It's the Wampa. It's the thing that attacked Luke." And I was like, "What do you say? Like, how do you know this? Who told you this?" You know,
And they've been together ever since.
Yeah, she's like, "I love Star Wars." Like, I'm like, "Which one's your favorite one?" And she's like, "Well, I like the Ewoks." And I'm like, "You don't love it." And then she's like, "No, what are you talking about?" And we went, you know, back and forth and back and forth. So, 10 years later. But, so yeah, Star Wars to me was always a thing that was culturally relevant, but was shunned in my day. Was that your experience?
I had people who were like, "Oh, you're a fucking nerd because you like Star Wars," but it wasn't shunned in the way that there wasn't this whole swath of people that hated it. You know, for me, it was always I had my Star Wars friends, and most people generally like Star Wars. You had the bully kids who all work at car washes now, who hated Star Wars and made fun of you for it. But it was always Star Wars
That's the
wasn't
same kid who's buying his kid a B-88 right now.
exactly. He had to stand in line at Target to get the B-88. But
And then the kid was like, "I didn't want this one. I wanted the one I can control with my smartphone."
Yep.
You're the worst dad ever.
I want that one. Shit. But yeah, it was never uncool to like Star Wars. You know, it was always a thing up in my part of the world.
That's good.
Yeah. Those screenings were sold out, homie. All those.
No, my screen was sold out too. You know what I mean? I think it was just the school that I was in. I think that was the whole crux of it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Because it might also might speak to the caliber of awesome people I hang out with now, where like every girl I meet now is like, "Yeah, I like Star Wars," but it's like, you know, these are people I'm like, "Oh, it's part of my social scene." Like people I meet at work. You know what I mean? They're like, "Yeah, Star Wars is cool." It's like,
Yep.
"Oh, interesting." Are you glad that George Lucas is out of the picture for this new batch of films?
Yes, but not for the reason a lot of people are gonna think.
Well, let me get into it. Because let me get into it first then. Because J.J. Abrams has made it clear that he's moving away from that tone that the Star Wars movies evolved into, which is, if you're not familiar, the tone of the prequels, which is goofy nonsense marked by dumb melodrama and CG. And I don't hate CG, but it's when you look at the making of that movie, everything is CG. Like, he's like, these people were standing too close together, so we're going to move them apart with CG. And it's like, or you could have just shot this correctly.
Yeah, you could have just done it right.
So
there's a CGI pair in episode 2. Couldn't run out and you could have run over to the craft table and gotten a pair.
Yeah. So J.J. Abrams, from the rumors I hear, J.J. Abrams is very resentful of Lucas, does not want any of his input, is not interested, does not view this as his thing anymore. And I'm of the same boat. I think that Lucas got to a point in his career where he was too powerful and no one could really question him. Because if you look at the production of the first Star Wars movie, he was the kid and everyone else had more acting experience than him. So Hamill and especially Harrison Ford were like, "Come on, dude, you got to help us out. You got to do that." And they'd have this repertoire. And then when you look at the secretive nature of how the prequels were shot, it's like you only got your lines. You didn't get anyone else's lines. So you have no idea what anyone else is even saying. You have no idea what the movie's really even about. And they're shooting it where it's on a green screen and they were just doing 1 or 2 takes for everything. So I think that style of movie making is not really interesting. I'm more interested in something that's collaborative and as such feels more real. So I'm very happy that he's gone. I think that he's not really even interested in the storytelling element of Star Wars anymore. I think he's interested in like the business of, you know, running his empire, which is fine, but it didn't make for 3. It made for 3 pretty lousy movies. Go ahead.
I agree. Mm-hmm. To a point, I think it's just time. The fact that Star Wars is still around is important, but I think it is time to get some new voices in the story. And yeah, I think George Lucas is just in his head a little too much and can't really put new life into Star Wars.
Yes.
You know? And I think, and listen, I don't hate the prequels, and this might invalidate all of my opinions of everybody who ever listens to this podcast.
It does.
It was fun, everybody. Thanks. Bye. The first one is pretty lousy. There's no question. Phantom Menace. Attack of the Clones has some real good stuff in it. Kind of lousy in parts, though.
Wait. What did you say about the first one?
Lousy.
Oh, okay. Good.
Yeah.
I got confused for a second. I got very angry.
Not lousy.
I had that flush of anger that you get where it runs up your whole body. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
You were like a PC principal on South Park.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lousy. Good parts. Parts that are lousy. Revenge of the Sith. I think the last half hour of Revenge of the Sith is like some of the best Star Wars stuff that there is. I think it's that good. There's some lousy stuff before it. Like, those movies are not perfect. They have flaws. But I also... This whole, like, George Lucas raped my childhood thing is stupid as hell.
Well, I disagree with that in the sense that he modified the originals and you can't get the one... There's a contract that you enter when something is released into the world, right? It's like, it was yours, but now that you've released it, it becomes part of other people too, right? And whatever you think of, like, auteur theory or pop culture or just how things work, that's true, right? For people, the Goonies is synonymous with their childhood, for better or for worse, for right or wrong. So the fact that he put out a movie, then took that away, edited it, and put it back out again, and you can't get the original, that's the crime, right? Making a shitty movie, that's not the crime. There's lots of movies that have shitty sequels. Jaws has tons of shitty sequels. Psycho has 8 shitty sequels. You know what I mean? Like, Aliens has bad sequels. Lots of franchises that are beloved where we forget about the sequels and we just focus on the good ones, right? Indiana Jones has one terrible sequel, right? At least. So, that's not the crime. The crime is taking away the original, fucking it up, and then putting it back out there and not letting us have the original version.
Alright. But yeah, the whole... That your childhood is ruined because...
He made a bad sequel.
A CGI shot is in it, or yeah, he made a bad sequel. It's like... I'm on a movie podcast. Get a fucking life, people. Trust me. Go to a museum.
I agree. I mean,
go to the park.
I agree with you with that. It's like, Jaws 4: The Revenge is by all accounts, from the actors involved to the writer, is just a terrible movie that was made under bad circumstances. That doesn't take away from the first Jaws movie at all. You know what I mean? So I get what you're saying with that. I do think though that it is shitty that if you...
Yeah, we should be able to get the original recipe Star Wars.
Right.
If we want it. And I do want it. And supposedly it's coming out. But
Yeah.
we'll see. But yeah, this whole notion that somehow George Lucas is the worst human being on the planet is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I guess I get really tired with that narrative.
Yeah.
Of just constant bashing on him. There's a documentary about
The people versus George
people
Lucas.
versus George Lucas. It's like, just get over it, you know? It just that gets very tiring. But again, I think it is good that he is out of it because we just need some fresh blood to bring Star Wars back.
Right. I agree. Speaking of the new recipe, Star Wars Force Awakens has been one of the most closely guarded films in history in terms of plot details. They're keeping a cap on that thing, and then the stories of, the way that they're distributing the scripts, or it's on an iPad and you can't take a screenshot on it.
The pages are red, so they can't be photocopied.
Right. It's
Anthony Daniels said it was like getting a hangover trying to read that script. He did not like it. So.
That being said, there's rampant spoilers and speculation that started as soon as the film was announced. Every week, I feel like if you go on IO9, the morning spoilers has something to do with it.
Oh, yeah.
Claims of characters being brought back, you know what I mean? Like, not to spoil anything for anyone, but there's claims of actors who are dead that they're trying to bring them back. Just like things that make no sense, you know what I mean? It's just unbelievable stuff. So, and J.J. Abrams and Disney have essentially taken a no-comment stance to any and all rumors and any and all spoilers. We're recording this on September 26th. As of this recording, only 2 trailers have come out, the teaser and then the short trailer. that show you very minimal shots. We know we've seen Han and Chewie. We've seen some other characters that we have not been named yet. To us, we know their names because we are past Force Friday, where all the toys have come out. So now you could go buy a Kylo Ren, I believe is his name.
Kylo Ren's the main villain.
Yeah,
we still don't know what two of the main characters, played by two of the biggest actors, what they even look like.
Right.
We got Lupita Nyong'o's character, who is Maz Kanata. Don't know what they look like. We have Andy Serkis playing Supreme Leader Snoke. No idea what he looks like.
Right. So, as I said, I was very wary. Saw the first teaser. That teaser looked good to me. I thought that teaser was the right tone, the right message, the right visuals, the right story. The fact that in the visual storytelling of the movie, it shows that we're going to have Luke Skywalker, we're going to have Chewbacca, we're going to have Han Solo.
The Millennium Falcon.
We have the Millennium Falcon. But we're also introducing new people, and we're going to pass this thing off to the new people. I like all of that. Saw the second trailer, and I'm like, that's it? Don't need it? Because I went goo for gaga for The Phantom Menace, right? It was like everything I could find out about it. I don't need to know anything else. I don't need to know what anyone's name is. I don't need to know anyone. I'm there on this in the month of December when that movie comes out. I will be there. I don't need any TV spots. I don't need any toys. When I go to Target, I'm not gonna go near the electronics section. I'm not gonna go to that toy section. I'm gonna stay out of the clothing section. I don't need to know. It doesn't matter, So, what do you think about? I am right at this point. I'm happy that they're keeping the details closely guarded because I don't want to be spoiled. I want to just enjoy it because it's a franchise that I feel like that the good movies were already culturally significant when we were kids, so you already knew the twists and the turns.
Yeah.
You were just seeing how it all went, and then the new movies had no twists and turns. They were just filling in the backstory that you already kind of knew. There's no interesting information of any kind.
Patton Oswalt, the comedian, has a great bit about that. He has an imaginary conversation with George Lucas. And he's like, oh, I'm making, Star Wars movies that are prequels. And the first one's got Darth Vader. He's like, oh, wow, Darth Vader. What does Darth Vader do? Like, he's a little kid. And his mom dies, and he's really sad. And the second one's got Boba Fett in it. Oh, that's cool. Boba Fett. What does Boba Fett do? Well, he's a little kid. And his dad dies, and he's really sad. So it's like, did we really need all that?
But don't worry, because there's gonna be a lot of talk of trade tariffs. And
oh yes,
I remember seeing that movie with my mom when I was
city council meeting.
When I was in 8th grade, I'm like, "What's a trade tariff?" And she's like, "Honey, I just don't know."
Arbitrary.
She can be funny when she wants to be.
Arbitrary space policy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we live in a weird time where if you spoil something, you've ruined it. It's like that's it. But if the story's any good, a spoiler to me doesn't really matter. You'll get that initial shock, and it'll mean something to you if you didn't know it. Yeah, I think it's good to preserve that. But if spoiling something truly doesn't make it even worth watching, then it's probably not that good to begin with.
I think we live in a time. Okay, what you're talking about is the fetishization of secrecy.
Yep.
Right. And I get what you're saying, but I do think that there is the idea that the thing should be pure, and that speaks to the level of our interest in the stuff, right? Like I don't know what happens as of this recording. I don't know what happens in Crimson Peak, and I don't want to know. You know what I mean? I want to just learn it in the movie, which is the way the art's supposed to work, right? Yeah. It's like you watch the movie, you see it, and then that's how the story is told to you. The story's not supposed to be told to you through your friend who's talking too loud on the bus. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I get what you're saying, where people take it very seriously, but I think it just speaks to the love of pop culture that we have right now. And I guess my fear is that will go away one day and people won't care. So I guess I'm enjoying people caring about this shit while it lasts. You know what I mean?
I'll buy that.
But I get what you're saying. Where it's, we knew the story of the original movies going into them, and they're still great movies. They didn't. Knowing that the twist that it's different, right? Knowing the twist that Darth Vader is Luke's father, spoilers, is different than having that revealed to you. But by that time, we already knew that he died in the last movie. We know that, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's a weird. People only complain because they like media, right? So that's just my takeaway from that. They like it too much, which we saw when the first trailer came out, and let's talk about this real quick, where a stormtrooper takes off his helmet and is revealed to be a African gentleman, and the internet
Who we
put on their white hoods.
we already knew was going to be in this movie. They
Right.
announced the cast, obviously, before then.
And the internet collectively put on their white hoods and planted the cross in the front yard of America and started to burn it and, cried from the heavens that there's no way a black guy could ever be a stormtrooper. Now, maybe you're listening to this and Star Wars has already come out and whatever, but that shot was just him taking off the helmet, sweating. Right?
He just pops into frame, sweating, clearly concerned. He's in the desert. That's the shot.
Well, and then there's a second shot where he's on a spaceship and he's taking off the helmet.
That's the second trailer.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're right. But
I'm really good at knowing trailers.
we've seen in Star Wars movies people who are not stormtroopers wear stormtroopers costumes. So even if you are a horrible racist who thinks that black guys, because they're black, can't be stormtroopers, like, how do you know he didn't just steal this stormtrooper costume in the guise of a throwback to the Han Solo, Luke Skywalker breaking into the Death Star kind of a thing? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And why couldn't he be? Why could a black guy not be a stormtrooper? Like, the stormtroopers, to what we know, are mostly consisted of the clone troopers, which is like a guy from like fucking New Zealand. You know what I mean? And and that was like 30 years ago. You think that those clones last forever? No, clones don't last forever. Racism. So,
and yeah, it's 21st century. Why are you still racist?
that's a weird thing that caught me off guard. Where it's like a black guy can't be a stormtrooper, and it's like, why? And it's like there's no.
This is a fantasy universe,
right?
People.
It's like there's no reason why. It's just a weird. That caught me off guard for some reason. I know that I don't think it caught you off guard. The idea that Star Wars fans can be ignorant and childish.
Well, now there's this thing about Gwendolyn Christie. She's Captain Phasma.
Which, by the way, I do love that name.
It's a good name. They're really good Star Wars names in that when you first hear it, you're like, that's a weird name, and then it completely grows on you, and you like it. But yeah, they're talking about, Captain Phasma's armor isn't very feminine. It's like, who gives a fuck?
Okay.
They
took not to spoil anything for anyone. They took a stormtrooper helmet and they dipped it in chrome. It's not fucking rocket science.
They took a stormtrooper outfit to Pimp My Ride and exhibit, put chrome on it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, what?
So yeah, it's the 21st century and we're still having these issues.
But were you shocked by that though? Were you surprised that they got shitty about it?
I was sad that I wasn't shocked by it. I felt like this was such an obvious, like, of course somebody's gonna be pissed about the new Star Wars movie being led by a black guy. There were people who were complaining about Mad Max Fury Road because they heard a rumor that it's not really about Mad Max, and they're like, well, Mad Max doesn't do this, and this. And it's like, well, that's not really true.
Also, and spoilers for that movie is great. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
Gonna be hard to take that one off the top of the year list for me.
Oh yeah, get your top of the year list ready.
Oh, it's in the works.
Yeah. So I was just very disappointed with that. It was very shocking, and especially because like I think it's so when people are like Spider-Man can't be black, I find that to be offensive as well. But like this is just ridiculous because this is a character that we don't even know. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's a story. We don't know the story. We don't know the character. We know nothing about it, and they're throwing all this judgment on it, and it's so stupid.
Yeah, it's just real baffling. Well, as we wrap it up here, do you think that is there an interest that you have in the spin-offs? You got the Gareth Edwards one, where it's Rogue One about Rebel Team stealing a bunch of Death Star, and then the Lego guys making the Han Solo movie.
I think it's a cool idea it's such a big universe that we don't just have to follow the Skywalkers everywhere, as one writer called them, the Space Kardashians. But yeah, I think there's so many characters and it's such a rich world that we should be able to go off and look at a different story. I really like this idea of following the people that do the Death Star because it's a world with no Jedi in it, and that's like a world they have to live in. Young Han Solo doesn't interest me that much, but if anybody can make it good, it's Phil Lord and Chris Miller. But yeah, I think like should dig more into like Knights of the Old Republic or Dark Forces, like what the video games did. Really going in people who are way out of the main storyline, have no connection to the main storyline, have only heard about the Skywalkers and all this stuff. And, Guillermo del Toro talked about he wants to do a Hutt mob movie. It's like, that's cool.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
The Jabba the Hutt, Goodfellas or Casino.
Yeah, it's like that. There's so many rich characters. Like, you could do so much. And yeah, why not have the lead be an alien? You know, why not have be a Twilight girl with like the big head thing? And, you know, there's so many things you can do with it. So I like the idea, and I'm glad they're doing it. I wish they would expand a little more to really get away from the main storyline.
Yeah, I think what you said, there's a lot of things you said that I agree with. The main one is that, and I think the appeal of this is present in all the good Star Wars movies, at least, is that Star Wars takes place in a universe that feels gigantic, that you are just seeing little slivers of, right? We start on Tatooine, and in Tatooine we go from like the farm to the city, then we go to, we go out, and you see all these different things, and it feels like this huge universe, and we're just going across this thing, right? So that's why I don't want to see, and also for a lot of reasons, I don't want to see a young Han Solo movie, because what's the point, right? We know that character, we have our own ideals of him, now you're going to get a different actor to play him young, like what's the point of that? And same thing with I hate to be this groupthink about it, but it's like we've already had prequel movies that sucked, so I'm not interested in prequels, and we already know the ending, or not the ending, but we know the ending to one story of the Rogue One. We know the ending of that story, so you have to either make a movie that's really tight, that is just a solid whatever, heist movie, solid gangster movie, whatever it's going to be, solid sci-fi movie, obviously. That's the bare minimum, but then are the revelations from those movies something that is interesting to us, right, that affects the later movies, and do they have the balls to actually do that? And I don't think that they do. So I'm very apprehensive in that sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that, no question.
So I don't know, go forward. Like, why do we have to go back?
Exactly. And like you said, with any kind of prequel, it's how do you make the stakes interesting? Because we know how it's going to end before we even see a trailer.
Right.
It's what do you do?
Right. And what I would like, and maybe we'll save this for sequel pitches, but I would like a story that has nothing to do with anyone that we've ever met, somewhere else in the galaxy, and then you make a couple of movies there, and then you do and we always talk about doing the Avengers thing. Do the Avengers thing where you meet some guy who lives on some other planet, and then eventually he meets up with our main dudes, and they all team up for something else, and really pay that off. Because I don't know, we've already met Han Solo, so there's nothing. What can we really do here? Now, that being said, if anyone could do it, it's those guys who made 21 Jump Street and a Lego Movie into enjoyable things, which is nay impossible, but somehow they did it. Clone High, also a great show.
Yes, fantastic.
We'll wrap it up with this question. Are Star Wars fans the best or worst fans in the history of everything?
Star Wars fans remind me of a lot of heavy metal fans. I will elaborate.
Please do.
When they love something, they latch on to it, they support it nonstop.
Defend it.
They defend it. They go to every show. They buy everything. They'll praise it to the sun, till the cows come home, till the sun goes down. But don't you dare get out of that little box that I've made for you, or I'm going to be pissed. If you put a keyboard on an album, oh my God, then you've ruined the whole fucking thing.
If you cut your hair.
Yeah, if you cut your hair, oh my God, you cut your hair. I don't buy it. This band's a sellout. They suck. If you put a black stormtrooper in there, oh man, blah, 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 blah. It's just, they can be the best and they can be the worst. I hate this idea, and always have, for anything where it's, you have this predefined little notion of what it can be and you won't let it be anything else.
Right.
So, yeah, heavy metal and Star Wars.
I agree with you, and that's my fear, you know what I mean, is that it's just like, they're the greatest fans of that. They've supported this thing since it came out, and they love it unconditionally, and they buy all the video games, and they buy all the movies, and they buy all the toys, and they buy all the
The fact
products.
that they can have it at Comic-Con and have their own convention for it, and it's like the big draw at everything, says a lot about the fans of that of Star Wars.
But at the same time, I think you're right, where it's like, you take this thing of wonderment and stretching your imagination, and then you put a couple of walls up, and now it's like don't go out of bounds. You know what I mean? And those lines are the flawed lines of the current culture that we live in, right? Where it's like, I don't want a black guy, you know, and it's just like, that sucks. It sucks that you said that. You know what I mean? Like that puts such a negative twist on this whole thing where it's like ugh, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But then part of me thinks like, is this just the Jurassic Park of the whole thing where everyone's like, the CG sucks, this movie is ruined, I'll never go, and then everyone was there opening weekend and everyone's gonna dress up as as a Velociraptor for Halloween. You know what I mean? So it's hard to know what's true like hatefulness and what's just shitty reactionary baby talk. Mm-hmm. You know? So
it is tough.
It's hard to say. So let's cheer ourselves up with a game of rapid fire. Rapid fire, Coke or Pepsi, no right answer. Star Wars, Disney, J.J. Abrams, Jibber Jabber edition. You ready?
Go.
You got anything else to say about Star Wars?
No, I think covered it well.
Okay. Hot out the gate. Disneyland, California Adventure.
California Adventure.
Whoa!
Yes.
Blowing my mind.
You can walk around with a drink in California Adventure.
Kev, this is also an intervention edition.
California Screamin', great roller coaster. Love the aesthetic of California Adventure. That hotel is great. I just love California Adventure.
I'm gonna say Disneyland. I live in Southern California, so I don't stay at the hotels.
I've walked through the hotel. I've not stayed at it.
It's a fascinating thing where you know where everything is in Disneyland, even if you don't know where everything is in Disneyland,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where you kind of have an idea of the layout. Whereas at California Adventure, you're like, wait, is this a place? No, this is a restaurant. Oh, let's go in here. Wait, this is like where kids are taking a nap. Like, where are we? What is this? They got the Cars ride is probably my favorite ride in all of Disney.
I haven't even been there since the Cars thing opened.
What?
I haven't even been there yet.
There's nothing to
and I
do.
still love California Adventure.
Oh my god. Disneyland all the way.
All right.
Coruscant or Cloud City?
Cloud City. That place always looked cool.
Cloud City, come on, you're floating in clouds.
Come on, the dude wears a cape.
Lightsabers. Crossguard, OG Samurai Sword, or Darth Maul Double Dong?
The double-headed Darth.
Yeah.
God, that was one of the things in Phantom Menace I wish they kept out of the trailer. That reveal that he's got a double lightsaber.
Yeah.
That would have been so fucking cool to see that the first time, you know? But I do like Kylo Ren's lightsaber so far. Because a lot of people get their hands chopped off in this universe.
Yeah.
And a crossguard
Yeah.
keeps you from getting your hand chopped off.
You know, I'm gonna go with OG one, but I want to see, because I haven't seen this movie yet, so I want to see how that works out, if they do some interesting things with it, you know what I mean?
It will be cool to see.
Yeah. There's a lot of YouTube videos of people defending that and seeing how
Like actual swordsmiths are like, no, this is what a crossguard does.
Yeah. As it turns out, the average person, not an expert on swords. Star Wars novels no longer in canon. Yay or nay?
I'm nay for that one.
Interesting.
In terms of, I'm glad that they're not in canon anymore. I'll say that much.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I never got into it. It doesn't hurt me any.
There's just so much history in those that it'd be so hard for anybody who just watched the movies to try and integrate those story elements into this new trilogy. It's like, just kind of keep it separate, you know.
So, what about the video games and the comic books? Also not in canon anymore. What do you think about that?
I'm okay with that too. For a lot of the same.
Dash Rendar, no!
The old Shadows of the Empire. That was a fun game.
What do you think about the prequels still being in canon?
I can roll with that, but we're so far removed from them now that, you know, trade tariffs aren't going to affect the story of Episode 7. I don't think, unless that's the big
we
twist.
talked about this in the Jurassic Park
Is that what you're
episode.
hiding from us, J.J. Abrams?
What,
that
the trade tariffs?
Trade tariffs are
All
the
about
crux of
trade
this
tariffs.
story?
We talked about this in the Jurassic Park episode, and I'm going to repeat what I said there. If you're going to take out the trash, take out the bathroom trash too. We're going to cut the novels. It's fat. You're going to trim the fat, trim that fat. You're going to cut the comic books, trim the fat. You're going to cut the video games, trim the fat. Cut the prequels out. Those suck too. Throw all the shit away that doesn't make any sense. Cut out the redone versions. Let's just go back to... we have our chance right now. This is the only chance we're going to get. Just go back to the regular versions. No more extended dance sequences. Greedo doesn't shoot first. Jabba the Hutt doesn't visit them in the Mos Eisley thing. Fuck all of that. Let's just get back to the clean version. Throw away all the garbage.
I'm all for it.
Get in the dumpster.
Reignite. Turn on all the garbage at the detention level.
Yeah.
All the garbage mashers at the detention level.
Coolest non-Boba Fett bounty hunter character, because obviously Boba Fett is the coolest bounty hunter character, and obviously Jango Fett is not cool at all. Bossk, Dagar, or IG-88?
I always like Bossk. Bossk was really cool. He was the lizard.
And to my recollection from our conversations not jibber-jabbering, you are not a fan of Dagar.
Dagar sucks. He's just an old...
Is he the wolf one?
No, he's like, he's the guy who has like a lot of bandages on.
Yeah,
He's pretty
Mummy Man, get out of here.
Dengar, he's pretty shitty.
I'm gonna go with IG-88, because he's a robot that
He is
kills.
cool.
Also, in Shadow of the Empires, he was a hard boss.
He was.
You gotta fight him on the trash planet.
That
It's tough.
motherfucker was tough. I need to go to like an old, like pawn shop or something.
World 8 in on over there in Koreatown.
There's a game dude in North Hollywood.
Yeah, let's go to both. Right now. See you later, guys.
Bye.
Alright. Best Star Wars side character, Admiral Akbar, Lobot, or question mark? Fill in the blank.
I love me some Lobot, but Admiral Akbar, that dude, military strategist, he's brilliant.
I'm gonna disagree with what you just said. I love me some Lobot, but it has to be Admiral Akbar. Admiral Akbar doesn't apologize for who he is.
And he's supposedly back for episode 7.
No spoilers, Kev. Stop it. Worst non-Jar Jar Binks side character, Salacious Crumb, Kit Fisto, or someone else?
Salacious Crumb's kind of annoying.
Who is he? You gotta explain these things as we go.
That's Jabba's little pet. The guy's like, oh, that's him. He kind of doesn't function much.
Yeah, but he's fun.
He is. He's not bad. Kit Fisto is he's in Attack of the Clones. He's the Jedi with like the green dreads. Kind of doesn't do much.
There's a pro wrestler named Lou Fisto, and she took her name from Kit Fisto.
Well, there you go. I had no idea.
These are definitely not the worst characters, by the way. Because
nobody's worse than Jar Jar Binks.
Well, I'm going to throw you on the bus right now, because in our conversations outside of the Jibber Jabber, you've put over Saboba and Watto as underrated, and I think that's insanity, because those guys are the absolute fucking worst.
I like Watto.
Watto is just so
Watto has an arc, at least.
So we're all on the same page. He's the one who is enslaving Annie, right?
Yes.
No, he's the worst. He enslaves women and children. Why would we feel good for this guy?
I don't feel good for him.
There's a real tinge of racism that runs through those prequels, and it starts and ends with fucking Watto. Where it's like, he's not such a bad guy. It's like, no, he enslaves women and children. He's a bad guy.
He was a product of the time. He was his own Rhett Butler.
Yeah. Best non-Vader Star Wars villain: Darth Maul, Jabba, or whatever.
I wish both Jabba and Darth Maul got in one more movie than what they got. Darth Maul should have been the villain from episode 1 to episode 3 instead of trying to do a new villain every single time. Darth Maul was pretty fucking cool.
Well, what it should have been was how the idea of the Sith is that there's a Master Sith, there's an apprentice Sith, and then there's everyone underneath them, who are just like not ever going to be a leader. He should have not been the apprentice. That should have been the Phantom Menace. They think that he's the apprentice, but he's not. It's actually Dooku or whoever. Yeah. And so that he's just a knight in the army, right? So that's the big twist. They think that, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I can totally buy that, but you put him in 3 movies, That's all I gotta say.
I gotta go with the 2-ton gangster himself, Jabba the Hutt.
I love Jabba the Hutt. He's
great.
so damn cool.
Just fucking smoking that hookah, eating frogs, being a
watching
G.
people get eaten by the Rancor.
Yeah, fucking entertainment.
Yep.
Best Star Wars video game series: Battlefront, Rogue Squadron, or Knights of the Old Republic? KOTOR.
I really wanted to get into Knights of the Old Republic, but I couldn't figure out the battle system, and that's my own fault. It's nothing against that game. It's just I'm not RPG savvy enough to figure out that battle.
Fair. That's fair.
I do like the story of that series, but Rogue Squadron is fantastic.
And I'm going to say Battlefield, because while Battlefield... Okay, so the epic battles in Star Wars, especially in the first 3 movies, were so good. They're so enjoyable. They, like in Jedi, there's like 3 of them going on at once. You know what I mean? They're great.
Yep.
And while Battlefield never reached that level of cinematic quality, it gave you a taste of it, and it was fun. You know what I mean? So,
and this new one that's coming out looks pretty damn cool.
Yeah. Hopefully they figure out that people want it to be cinematic. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Because the original one on the PS2 was very just straightforward. You know, it's like, I want some like slow down time sometimes. You know, like give me some objectives that are cool.
Yeah.
You know, like
A few more scripted events, maybe?
yeah, more scripted events. Yeah, exactly. Like let me fight like. You know, make up some scenarios like we're boarding a ship. Like, let me do that.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be sick. Wouldn't that be sick? You gotta defend the
Yeah.
ship. You gotta.
Seems like they're doing that in this one. The
Good,
new one's
good,
coming
good,
out.
good, good.
And then Vader comes to town and tears you up. So.
Yeah. Best Star Wars band: Max Rebo or the Cantina Band?
Gotta give it to that Cantina band.
Max Rebo is the one in Jabba's the Hutt.
That's Jabba's palace. Yep.
I think the Cantina Band. I have to give it to, but I do like the sexy, like weird, like frog slash
Crane slash
elephant lady. You know, like she's cool.
But her extended thing was terrible.
Right.
So.
Also,
but
Max Rebo has some sexy ladies dancing to their music.
yeah, he does.
And some not sexy ladies too.
He gets the ladies going with that sick beat. But the Cantina band, hardworking band, entertaining those the hive of scum and villainy that is Mos Eisley.
Indeed. Alias or Felicity? Also, in Star Wars Land, in Disneyland, they better have that fucking cantina. And they better have that Cantina Band.
You're goddamn right.
Kev's eyes just bugged out like a crazy person.
Goddamn right. I'm going with Felicity in this one.
I'm going to say fuck Felicity, and it's all about Alias.
Also going into J.J. Abrams territory here.
Maybe we are. Stupid or lost villain? Smoke Monster or Polar Bear?
Smoke Monster. Give me a break.
Smoke Monster because it was so cool, and then the more they did with it, the lamer it got.
A polar bear in the jungle, that's a pretty inspired idea. A smoke monster, give me a break.
Super 8, cloying or narrated?
I think that's an underrated movie.
I agree with you.
It has cloying moments, but
Handshake.
that's the sound of shaking hands.
I think the movie's great.
I liked it.
It's wonderful.
I like it in the credits how you actually get to see the movie they made, you know? You know what I mean? Like the movie the kids were trying to make the whole time before everything went haywire.
Oh, that shit's great.
I was like, that's what you never get in movies like that. It's like, I want to see the thing that they thought was this huge masterpiece they were going to get.
Also, the thing about that's cool is like that movie is the fantasy of what you wanted to create when you had your like parents' Super 8 high 8 videotape camera or the VHS. You wanted it to look like that, but it never ever looked like that. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, I think that's an inspired movie.
Best oddball J.J. Abrams screenplay: Regarding Henry, Armageddon, or Gone Fishing?
The fact that I discovered when I was writing this that he wrote Gone Fishing, which is the most banal, like, old man comedy, up there with, like, Grumpier Old Men. You know, it was in the Grumpier Old Men renaissance when everybody was like, let's take two old actors and put them in a stupid comedy. And J.J. Abrams wrote one of those, Gone Fishing. Regarding Henry is not a bad screenplay. Not a bad film either.
I'm gonna swerve you and go with Joyride.
Joyride. He wrote Joyride?
He wrote Joyride.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yep.
So there you go.
Slasher movie with a truck driver.
Ooh.
I kind of want to visit that.
All right.
Let's remember that.
Check it out. Joyride. A slasher movie with a trucker that's not dual.
Yep.
Okay.
Mickey Mouse or Bugs Bunny?
Bugs Bunny.
Bugs Bunny all day, every day.
He's such a smart ass.
And like, I just don't understand the appeal of Mickey Mouse other than that he's just everywhere at Disneyland.
Yep.
Like, what media is Mickey Mouse? Like, the only thing that he's in that I know of is like Fantasia and then all of the black and white shorts.
Yeah.
And like, I watched a lot more Cartoon Network than I did Disney Channel.
Yep. Yeah, he didn't really. He's way more just a figure to encompass everything that Disney means rather than being a character himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's Mickey Mouse's personality other than going, ha ha, well, shucks, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas Bugs Bunny got personality.
Jawas or Ewoks?
I'm going with the Jawas. I like them.
I'm going to Ewoks.
But I have no problem with the Ewoks.
They're
A lot of
cute.
people have a problem with the Ewoks.
You know, army of teddy bears, and they killed the most vicious army in the universe. So you know,
did.
when your game recognized game,
Yep.
do not or try.
Do.
I'm gonna say try.
All right.
Rank the saga 1 through 6. Go.
5, 6, 1, 3, 2, 1. Or wait, no. 5, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm gonna go 5, 4, 6, 3, 2, 1.
All right.
But now here's a different question. Rank the saga on how you would show it to a kid. So what's the order you show it to them? You want me to go first?
Yeah.
You go, here's the order. This is the order you have to show it to a kid. You go 4, 5, 2, 3, 6. No 1. So you start with Star Wars, start with Luke, and you go to Empire, reveal Darth Vader's Luke's father, flashback, fill up the Anakin Skywalker story, see how that ends up. Now we're back into Jedi, we leave with the happiness of Jedi.
That's an interesting way to do it.
It's the only way to do it. And also, if you look at, in terms of plot, nothing happens in 1 that's not explained in 2, so you don't need 1 at all.
Pretty much. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. You agree with me or what?
I agree.
Or do you, I guess the only
That kind of blows my mind.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah. Because when you think about it, it's like you can't spoil, because if you watch them in order, it would the twists don't work anymore.
Yep. It's an interesting way to do it.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up with a little game of what this movie. The way what this movie works is we come up with a theme. In this case, it's gonna be Disney and Star Wars inspired edition. We say the names of the movies. You say if you've seen it, and if you have seen it, you say you like it, if you don't. If you haven't seen it, you say if you want to see it or if you don't want to see it. Here we go. Guardians of the Galaxy. Love it.
Great.
Great. So great. Fox and the Hound.
A good little Disney movie.
You know,
Low stakes.
when I went to the dentist as a kid, this is gonna come up, so I gotta get this out of the way. When I went to the dentist as a kid, they would play movies like on TV screens. So anytime someone's drilling into your teeth, you could always watch like whatever. So I've never watched this movie outside of a root canal style fucking scenario. That being said, I do remember liking it, but I haven't to say I've really seen that movie. You know, like when the dental technician put her shoulder in my face, I missed a good chunk of it. So
all right, that makes sense.
Wreck-It Ralph.
That's a good. I think that's the best of Disney's kind of new renaissance that they're doing of new original stories.
I would say Big Hero 6 is better than it, but I would say that it's great. Wreck-It Ralph. We're talking about Wreck-It Ralph. We'll get to that later. Flash Gordon.
Just a damn strange movie, but very campy and entertaining.
Not interested.
You should check it out.
Indiana Jones Saga.
It's good.
1, 2, and 3 are good.
Yep.
4 is the worst movie in the world. I also saw 4 in the theater twice.
Oh boy.
Because it came out the weekend I graduated from college, so I went with 2 groups of people.
That was a
terrible. Big Hero 6.
I liked it, didn't love it.
I loved it, didn't like it.
Mind warp.
Firefly / Serenity.
I've never watched Firefly.
Really?
Seen Serenity, enjoyed Serenity, but I've never watched Firefly.
I watched Firefly, loved the fuck out of it. Watched Serenity, didn't love it. Recently rewatched it again. Found out that I was just, when you're just too into something and it just can't live up to the hype. That was the case. So I love it all.
All right.
Fifth Element.
It's a very strange movie, but a very enjoyable one. Watched it recently, actually.
Samesies. Lady and the Tramp.
It's a good one. I liked it. I remember it from my childhood.
Meh. Cowboy Bebop.
Never seen it.
Oh, so good, Kev.
Never seen it. I know.
I haven't seen it in like 10 years, but my memory of it is that it's just the best.
I've not. Yeah.
Aladdin.
One of the better Disney classic films. Yes.
Yeah, I liked it. It's good. Lion King.
Definitely up there as one of their absolute best films. Period. No matter what style.
I always saw Lion King 10 times in the theater.
I remember my theater did a huge, there was a poster thing and there were activities and it was like a big release for it. Like this was an event movie, So yeah, good memories of Lion King.
Spaceballs.
It's funny. Definitely not Mel Brooks' best though.
It's funny, but as I get older, it gets less funny.
Yeah, I agree.
The Little Mermaid.
It's good. I like Ursula. She's probably my favorite Disney villain. Those poor unfortunate souls. Ursula.
It's not my cup of tea. The Emperor's New Groove.
That's a funny movie.
Never seen it. Hercules.
Not a big fan of that one.
I skipped it and then I revisited it this year, and I found it enjoyable. It's flawed in that it's when Disney was really taking a snooze.
Yeah.
But they're trying.
I felt like I just felt it was kind of lazy. The plot, the characters, I don't know. Wasn't into it.
Wing Commander.
Oh God, that movie's terrible.
Never seen it. Mighty Ducks.
It's fun.
When I was a kid, I loved it, but I don't know how it holds up.
Also, that their flying V. That's a penalty right there. You're offsides, Mighty Ducks.
Because you have to have someone in the back has to have it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. totally not a legal play.
Battlestar Galactica. The reboot or the original?
I've never seen either, so can't comment on either one.
I've seen a couple of the original. It's okay. The reboot, I don't know how many episodes there are. Just for the convenience sake, say there are 100 episodes. 99 and a half episodes are good. The last half of the last episode is the worst half hour of television I've ever seen in my life. It's so stupid. It's unbelievably stupid.
Wow.
After we're done, we'll talk about it. But it's just like the decision that they make is like this gigantic decision, and it's so Bobo. It's the definition of Bobo.
Wow.
It's just the worst.
All right.
Okay. Any other Jibber Jabber before we take 2 months off and go watch this movie?
Exactly.
Or
We got I believe it's 82 days. We got till this one comes out. I am extremely excited to see it. I mean, I can't wait. You know?
let's go buy some droids.
Yeah, let's do it. And then, just so you know, listeners, we will be spoiling the entire plot in the second half of this episode.
Oh yeah.
Spoils all day.
As we always do. So
As we're always gonna do. I just want to especially warn you with this one.
it's an in-depth conversation, and as such, be warned. All right.
So, yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go.
And we're back.
We're back.
Star Wars.
The biggest movie of the year.
Our spoiler policy is so thick that we have literally. You came into my apartment back at our headquarters here. We have not spoken.
No.
Hey, how's it going? Good. Okay, cool. We'll sit down. Let's go.
No word exchanged yet until the mic came on.
So Kev, I don't even know this information. How and when and where did you see it?
I went to the Culver City ArcLight Thursday, 7 p.m. The earliest possible show we could get to.
The first show.
Yes, the first official show for the public. I went to it. I was there.
And how was the crowd?
It was a very good crowd. It was sold out. We had a really funny moment. You know, they were supposed to show the Star Trek Beyond trailer.
Which they did not in front of mine.
They straight up showed the first Star Trek trailer on because we were watching it, and I was thinking, oh, this looks like the first one, and then it says from director J.J. Abrams, and everyone's like, wait a minute.
What?
And then we see the whole thing, and then the date's like May 9th, 2009.
That's funny.
The crowd just died.
That's crazy.
I don't know.
How does that happen?
I have no idea how that happens.
I wonder. Wow, weird.
They must have just had the file, maybe, and someone said, oh, send us the Star Trek trailer file.
Right. It just
Some intern was just like, oh, this one. That
intern.
Yep.
3D, IMAX, regular.
Regular. Yeah,
Right.
no 70 millimeter.
Right.
Although I do want to see it in 70.
We did in the first half heavily promote the idea of seeing it in 70mm, which neither of us did.
Yep.
So, anything else from the thing? Did people when did people clap? Did they clap at a long time ago in Galaxy Far, Far Away?
I think when Lucasfilm came up, and then that nice pregnant pause of long time ago, Galaxy Far, Far Away, Star Wars hits, and the crowd goes nuts.
I see.
And then that was everybody started reading the opening crawl intently, which we have, and we'll do it.
We'll
on
recap that at a
summary.
later time.
And then all the key moments, which we'll talk about. Lots of laughs, lots of cheers. It was a really good crowd. One of the best crowds I've ever seen a movie with.
Oh, really?
It was a
Wow.
good experience.
So I went today, and today is December 19th, Saturday morning. ArcLight screening, Theater 10, or Screening Room 10, House 10, 8 a.m. showing. Bright and early, right?
Yep.
I was worried that we're going to have a bad crowd because the Lucasfilm logo came up, nothing. Long time, and I'm like, ah! Long time ago in Galaxy Far, Far Away, and I'm like, and then, like a fucking ton of bricks that Star Wars theme hits, and then that's when everyone started cheering. I was like, whew.
You didn't want to have the library experience of just everybody. Yes, we are watching Star Wars intently.
Well, what I did have was basically the Japanese pro wrestling experience, where everyone was very quietly, very intently watching everything that was happening, and then when the high spots came, that's when they would clap and stuff. So the whole jumping, and also spoilers, jumping to the end, the ending fight with Kylo Ren versus Daisy Ridley or whatever, Rey. people were marking out every time there was a reversal. They were marking out every time, but there's people. There's women on the left and the right of me, not just Emily. I saw it with Emily, but there's other people there, and they were like pumping their fists at some point and clapping like involuntarily. Something would happen, they'd just be like. So it was a good crowd, but it wasn't like a outwardly emotional crowd. They were just like glued. You know what I mean?
Just cannot take your eyes off.
No one was checking their phone. No one was doing. They were just in it.
I will say, about early in the first act, I really had to pee, and I held it the entire movie.
Dude, I was afraid of that, man. I was like not drinking water this morning. I'm like, I just can't. You know what I mean? I can't risk it.
Yep. Yeah, I made that mistake. So I do want to see it again, completely under the fact that I don't need to watch it while I have to pee. So, but yeah, I could not get. There were scenes where I was like, okay, maybe after this scene, I'll sneak out really quick. I'll run. And I couldn't do it.
There's no good spot to do it. There's really no good spot to do it at all.
No.
And 2-hour movie, not really a second wasted.
Nope.
As
we will discuss.
Okay.
But first, let's spoil the fuck out of this plot.
It's not a mystery anymore, motherfuckers. It's out. And also, you don't have to listen to this. Go see it if you haven't seen it yet.
Please. All right.
So read Kev, you have the script. Go.
So the opening crawl, Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Luke Skywalker has vanished. In his absence, the sinister First Order has risen from the ashes of the Empire and will not rest until Skywalker, the last Jedi, has been destroyed. An entire organization raised to kill one Jedi. That's amazing.
Well, I think they got other
I know.
Things going on, as we'll find out in a minute.
Yeah. With the support of the Republic, General Leia Organa leads a brave resistance. She is desperate to find her brother Luke and gain his help in restoring peace and justice to the galaxy. Leia has sent her most daring pilot on a secret mission to Jakku, where an old ally has discovered a clue to Luke's whereabouts.
Yes. ... Before we get into the rest of the synopsis, what's interesting is that there's basically probably 3 movies worth of movie in between this one and Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Which is cool. There's a whole thing of Luke having had trained Jedis and failed. There's 2, the old Republic is now the new Republic that's launched up, and they basically state-funded terrorism fund the resistance to fight the new order, the First Order. I mean,
yeah.
And the First Order is basically the Empire falling out of the ashes of the Empire.
Yep.
So yeah, a lot of plot that they allude to but don't show.
Yep. Oh yeah, there's we know there's 2 more movies coming after this. And we'll talk about this in our analysis, but there are a lot of little nuggets that aren't answered yet in this film, but we'll find out later.
So basically, it's 30 years after Return of the Jedi. Bad guys are the First Order, good guys are the Republic. Luke Skywalker into hiding, looking for him. We start with Poe, a Resistance pilot who is, we meet him on Jakku. He's captured when he gets a piece of the map leading to the whereabouts of Luke Skywalker by Sith apprentice Kylo Ren. He tells his droid BB-8 to escape with the map, and while he gets captured, while he's on a Star Destroyer, Stormtrooper FN 2187, who Poe dubs Finn, helps Poe escape because he is repulsed by the First Order's cruelty. Poe and Finn steal a TIE fighter and head back to Jakku. Finn survives when they crash. Finn encounters a scavenger named Rey, who has found B-88, or BB-88, or
BB-8.
BB-8. I want to say BB-88. That sounds better.
No, that's too close to IG-88.
No one knows IG-88.
I do.
Yeah, and kudos to you. Force Order tracks them down on Jakku. They steal a rundown ship, the Millennium Falcon, which proceeds to break down on them and is quickly found by Han Solo and Chewbacca,
who have commandeered like a freighter type ship.
Right, and they want to find their ship, which they claim has been stolen 3 times over.
Yep.
Han explains that Luke tried to rebuild the Jedi Order, but disappeared after his apprentice Kylo Ren turned to the dark side, destroying all that Luke had built.
Who we learn early on in the film is Han Solo's son,
and with Leia.
Yes,
their son.
With Leia.
Our heroes are attacked by pirates and escape. Pirates do inform the First Order of their whereabouts. At Starkiller Base, which is a planet converted into a Death Star, which, interesting. It's but it's more than just a Death Star because it can destroy multiple planets all at the same time, harnessing the power of a sun. That is the Imperial stronghold, or the First Order stronghold. Ren is told by his supreme leader that he needs to overcome the call of the light side of the Force by killing his father, Han Solo. The Falcon crew arrive on the planet Takadona?
Yeah.
And meet this lady whose name like Maz
Kanata,
who
played by Lupita Nyong'o.
which weird character design for sure.
It's kind of like a Yoda-ish.
Yoda meets the lady from The Incredibles who like makes their costumes.
Edna Mode, yeah.
Yeah, who's based on an actual woman.
Edith Head.
Yes.
So yeah, Yoda meets Edith Head.
Yeah. Literally. If you combine those two things into one with Photoshop, it would be this, and then you dyed it yellow, it'd be this character.
It'd be Maz Kanata.
So Finn decides he'd rather flee on his own. Rey is drawn to a chest in the basement of this bar, which has Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber, which awakens a lot of Force-related abilities in her mind, and she sees visions of the future, of the past, of random stuff, and is horrified by it. Starkiller Base destroys a star system, which is the seat of the Republic Senate. So they kind of cripple the Republic in that one.
Fell swoop.
Fail?
Fell swoop.
Fell swoop?
Yes.
I've heard it both ways.
Fell swoop.
The First Order attacks. Han, Chewbacca, and Finn are saved by a squadron of X-Wing fighters led by Poe, who did not die
In the TIE Fighter crash.
in the TIE Fighter crash. Twist. Rey is captured by Ren and taken to Starkiller Base. Starkiller Base prepares to fire again, this time taking out the Resistance headquarters on a planet.
I believe on Yavin 4, like in A New Hope.
I think it's Dakar. There's also a lot of planets that are like could have been the old planets but aren't. Like Jakku is just like
Tatooine.
and Dakar is just like Yavin 4.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll get to that in a minute.
All right.
Let me wrap up this fucking thing. The Resistance devises a plan to lower the planetary shield so the fighters can get an attack the super weapon using the Falcon, Han, Chewbacca, and Finn. They all go infiltrate the base, regroup with Rey, who has escaped Ren. Han confronts Ren, implores him to abandon the dark side. Ren responds by killing him. Twist.
Han Solo
Dead. Harrison Ford got what he always wanted, for Han Solo to be dead.
Han Solo to die.
Chewbacca sets off the explosives in a bout of rage. The Resistance X-Wings attacks the weapon, starting a chain reaction that ultimately destroys the entire planet. An injured Ren chases Finn but before the planet explodes, an injured Ren chases Finn and Rey onto the surface of the planet in a foresty, snowy area. Finn takes a beating and loses a fight against Ren. Rey steps up and kicks Ren's ass. Before she can finish him off, the planet starts to explode and an earthquake separates the land that they're on, so there's a big fissure in the middle that she can't really get across. Chewbacca rescues her. They return to the Resistance base. Everyone celebrates the victory while Leia, Chewbacca, and Rey mourn Han's death. R2-D2 suddenly awakens and reveals the rest of the map. Apparently he's been on power down mode, and they kind of explain it through bleeps and bloops, so it's hard to say exactly what happened.
Yeah.
They go to an ocean on a distant planet, something that Ren said to Rey while she was being interrogated, and they find Luke Skywalker chilling on a bluff.
Yep.
And there's a really long shot of her extending the lightsaber to him, and him kind of being like, "Ooh."
Yep. He has a very conflicted look on his face.
And then that's the movie, and everyone cheered.
Yep.
Did I miss anything? I mean, there's a lot that happens in this movie.
That's a pretty good rundown, but that is the plot of Force Awakens, which has been so kept under wraps. It's nice to finally just know it and be on the other side of it.
Han Solo, main character, Luke Skywalker, cameo in the last 5 minutes.
Yep.
First billing. What'd you think?
It's a great film. I loved it. It felt like a Star Wars movie.
This may surprise you. I also love it.
Did you like it?
Yeah,
too?
it's great.
Right.
It's fucking great. And it really, I don't want to be negative right off the bat, but it really makes those prequel movies just unnecessary.
It kind of does when you really think about it. It's just from like in the first 5 minutes, I felt like I was 10 years old.
Right.
Again, I'm watching a Star Wars movie.
The movie has a very strong sense of fun. You know what I mean? I mean, there's like I think people will criticize it. It is a movie it's a movie made in our time now, so the fight scenes are intense and they're really loud and you know, a lot of people get shot and stuff, but does feel like a throwback to a different time.
Yeah.
You know, they're trying to make like a 70s movie now.
Yep.
But it does work as a 2015 movie. It's not so, I don't know, it's its own unique beast.
It's very timeless. Like, the biggest complaint I've seen about this movie is that everybody says the plot's too similar to A New Hope.
Okay. I agree with that. The plot is very similar to A New Hope, and with the loosest ties to Jedi of a small group has to take down the shield generator or whatever its equivalent is, while the bigger group needs to fly in and fuck some shit up.
Yeah. But to me, it's just such a timeless, classic kind of tale that it's hard to get too mad about. And, you know, they want to kind of ease us into the new Star Wars, so they got to give us a few familiar things. But, I mean, JJ is great at setting things up, but let's let Rian Johnson in Episode 8 really take the risk. You know what I mean?
And also, I mean, it kind of makes sense in the sense of if you can make a weapon that can destroy a planet, and you were part of a government that's so evil that you would actually use that weapon, I mean, it doesn't really matter how many times this shit gets destroyed, you're always going to try it again.
Yep.
Because if someone's pissing you off, you could just blow it up.
Yep. And now they can do 5 at once, you know?
Yeah.
Like 5 planets at once can be just completely annihilated.
Yeah, also, this movie falls in that Hollywood thing of, like, billions of people are being killed, but it kind of doesn't matter.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like, because death in this movie is sad, and like, you know, Han Solo's death is very upsetting. When Poe dies, it feels lame. But a billion people die on a planet.
Poe doesn't die.
Oh, when we think he's dead.
Yeah,
Sorry, when we think he's dead, it's very sad. Because Poe, by the way, instantly a classic character.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I mean, we have to talk about that.
We'll talk. Let's go to the new characters.
Well, let me finish this thought really quick.
Sure.
So when the planets are getting blown up, there's more stakes than, let's say, like a Man of Steel movie. Like, you see people...
Yeah, they actually, unlike in A New Hope where Alderaan just gets blown to pieces, they actually go on the planet and the people are looking in the sky and see the death beam coming at them.
Right, and it is played for horror. But then we move away from that very quickly.
Yeah.
So it's like, they do acknowledge how terrible something like that must be, but they're like, not, like, listen, like, it's terrible, but like, hey, we got shit to do, come on.
Yep. We got fast pacing.
Yeah.
So, alright, let's talk some of the new characters.
Poe, instant classic.
Poe, he's kind of our new... I don't want to call him the new Han Solo, but he's really his own beast. He's very... Him and Finn have a great relationship.
Well, they're like instant best friends.
Yeah.
Like, Poe is rescued by Finn, and he's like, are you rescuing me? He's like, why? And he's like, because it's right. It's like, you need a pilot. It's like, yes, I need a pilot.
Yep.
And then when Finn tells him his name, which is FN and some numbers, he's like, I can't call you that. I'm going to call you Finn. Is that okay with you?
Yep.
And he's just such a buddy.
There's just so much camaraderie in those two that was never in the prequels.
Yes.
That sense of, like, true friendship.
They're like instantly it's that scene in Step Brothers where they're like, oh, do we just become best friends?
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's like,
you want to do karate in the garage? Like, that's what they're gonna go
that line was recorded but cut from this movie. Because then later in the movie when they see each other again, BB-8 is like, he's over there, and then he goes and he sees him and they run at each other. I'm like, are they gonna fight? Like, what's gonna happen? And then they hug and he's like, oh man, like, I didn't know what happened to you, like, some crazy shit happened to me. And it's just like, damn, dude, these guys are just like fucking bird bullets, like, from the get.
It's just, and again, that's a very Star Wars thing, that just easy camaraderie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's Luke Skywalker and R2-D2, and you know, when they first meet, it's like
on that level. It's on that level where they're instantly just like,
yeah,
whatever, you know, yeah, totally.
It's just, you know, the relationships are fantastic in this. Finn is a great character as well. I think I liked him the most, where you can tell that battle that he's in is the first battle.
And they do confirm that later.
Yep.
Where he's like, he said that's the first time he got pulled in active duty.
Yep, because he works in sanitation.
Yep.
So, yeah, he's very conflicted and knows that he wants to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the same way with, like, you know, in the Nazis, which obviously the Imperials are based off of, and the First Order is heavily influenced by. Not every Nazi agreed with Hitler, and when they realized how terrible he was, they fought back. And so Finn is kind of in that mold, where he sees firsthand the horrors that the First Order is doing to their own people and to other people, just murdering in cold blood, and he just knows he needs to do something else about it. Now, but he's also very young, and he digs the little lie of like, oh, I'm in the Resistance. And, like, that lie kind of just keeps perpetuating itself in really funny ways, and he kind of digs himself a little lower each time.
Yeah,
so.
and all of that works totally.
Oh, yeah.
Also, on the subject of characters, just talking about the stormtroopers, they really, because this is not political, but just factually, you know, Star Wars is made in the 70s, Vietnam. So, like, you know, the stormtroopers are, you know, represent at the time, like the thought of like an organized military, right? Where you have these nameless soldiers and they're just, you know, they're just villains, but they're silent. They're taking orders from the big evil guy, right?
Yep.
So there's not a judgment on them, positive or negative. They are the fingers to the hand that is they are the hand to the body of that is the evil leaders, right? And we're not sympathetic with them, but we don't like them either. This movie both gives them their balls back because they're not missing shots randomly as much.
They're like actually
killing people.
Deadly fighters.
Yeah, they get a lot more hits and stuff.
They have flamethrowers. They have melee weapons.
Yeah.
It's like they can actually do some damage.
They shoot shit and it explodes. You know what I mean? And then, but at the same time, there's moments that we sympathize with them that they're actually human. The whole character of Finn is like that. But then, like in the first scene, there's a really great storytelling where they're attacking this.
They're attacking the village on Jakku.
Right. So we see them, you know, coming down. And we see like the trauma or the like what it must feel like to be in the dropship, right? And they drop in. One guy gets shot, and Finn is checking on him, and he puts his bloody hand on Finn's helmet, and it leaves streaks of blood. So it's like these guys are dying horrible deaths too. Like we're not on their side, but they are dying horrible deaths. So you're acknowledging like, hey, these are soldiers, you know, who are fighting in not necessarily a war that they have anything to agree with. And then Finn is also like, hey, they steal us from our families as children. They raise us as numbers. Like there's a sympathetic light shown on them that they are completely pawns.
Yeah, and they do establish that the clones are no longer a thing anymore. That's like they are recruiting children, basically.
Right.
So yeah.
Shades of
Beast of No Nation.
Beast of No Nation.
Done right here on Speaking Cinema. Let's talk about Rey, our new Luke Skywalker.
My favorite character.
She is fantastic.
She is fantastic. I agree with you.
She's tough. That tough chick, but not the really cliche, like, tough chick.
So, usually tough chicks in movies, in the past, have been traditionally men who they just put boobs onto and then give them one emotional scene that makes no sense in the context of the character to prove that they are, quote-unquote, a woman.
Yeah.
It's a very... it's hard to even say it this way, but I gotta call it out like I see it, right? It's kind of like men who don't like women's view on what a woman is, right?
Yeah.
This is an actual tough woman, right?
She has a hard scrabble life, scavenging parts out of, the history is that there was kind of the final stand of the Empire and the rebellion was on Jakku, and there's wreckage of old Star Destroyers and X-Wings and everything, and her job is to scavenge those for parts and give them to this dude and hopefully get portions, or rations, like things to eat. Like, that's her life, and that's all she does. And she's tough.
Right. And, there's a believable... She's believable as a badass. She's believable as a woman. It's just like... That's just a good representation of that on screen. And she is... And we'll get into this in I think... I'll say this for the Q&A section. But she is the star of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's her movie. And it's probably going to be her series.
Yep. She is the new Luke Skywalker.
And Finn is the new Han Solo.
Yeah. Finn and Poe are kind of a little bit of Han Solo but again, it's not fair to them to put them in those roles, I think, because they really are kind of their own characters. And they're really well written.
Right.
And Finn has a lot of really funny moments. Poe is just... You just instantly go to him. And Oscar Isaac is a brilliant actor in everything he does. And then Rey is just... You can build 10 movies around her, and I watch them all.
And it's interesting because it's written well and performed well and directed well, right? It's a well-made movie overall. And her character really sells you on the idea of being the star of the show, right?
Yep.
It's like you never like, well, I guess the Hollywood system wants this. You never like. It's just like no. Like this is our main character. This is our.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like tokenism, where
Yes.
it's like we're putting a lady in here just so the Tumblr fanatics quit bugging us. It's
Right.
like they actually wrote this story with a female lead in mind, and it's so good and feels so natural and not so forced.
She has really great because she knows a lot about ships, so she has a really great banter with
Han Solo
over the different things in the Falcon, like.
And yeah, I like the moment when something breaks and she's like, "Oh, we should do this," and Han Solo's like, "Oh, I never even thought of that." He does that in one look.
Right. He's like, huh? And then she pulls out the thing and she's like, "I pulled it out. That way we're gonna bypass the thing altogether." And he's like, "Stay here." Good stuff. Do you want to get into the bad guys?
Yeah. Let's get into our main bad dude. That's Kylo Ren.
So what do you think?
I mean, this is the most complex villain in Star Wars that they've ever come up with. Mm-hmm. He is, from the start, just incredibly conflicted. He wants to be a badass. He has this mask. He loves Vader, who is his grandfather, because, Leia's his mother. But he's prone to, fits of rage when he doesn't get what he wants or something goes wrong. Whereas Vader would kind of just coldly just force choke and kill somebody. Kylo pulls out his lightsaber and just takes it out on, the nearest consul or stormtrooper that's near him, And, I thought it was kind of a great moment. He takes his mask off and he looks completely normal.
Yes.
He looks like Adam Driver.
Although I will say, Harrison Ford plus Carrie Fisher does not equal Adam Driver, face-wise.
The Force is corrupting him.
Apparently.
Let's just do that. That's making that nose pretty big. Anyways, so it's a guy who, he has the voice thing on the mask to make his voice sound creepy, but under it he's kind of just a kid, or a young adult who doesn't really understand his power or know what he wants.
Right, and as a villain, he doesn't stack up to any of the villains previous in the series, right?
Yeah.
But that's on purpose, because he is obviously enamored with the dark side of the Force, but he feels the light side of the Force calling to him. He views it as a personal weakness, and he's trying to find strength through his grandfather, through the Sith Lord, through the dark side, right? So he's kind of, and I rarely, if ever, use this word, but he's kind of a poser, right? Because he's trying to, take in these things that have worked in the past, right? So Darth Vader wore a mask, so I should wear a mask.
Yep.
Right? It's like, well, Darth Vader needed that mask. You don't need this mask. But he thinks he does because he thinks that's... You think, oh, if they look like that, then I should look like that. You know what I mean?
But he is dangerous, too.
Yeah.
He's not just flailing around and is completely untrained.
Because he's a true believer.
He is a true believer in the dark side of the Force.
Right.
So, and he can kill people with his lightsaber. He does it quite a bit with that, and the sound of that lightsaber is so gnarly.
Yeah.
It's so unhinged.
The lightsaber everyone fucking bitched and complained about, and it was totally non-issue in this movie.
Let's see, what was it?
Bad guys, Captain Phasma? You want to talk about Captain Phasma? Or are you still on Kylo Ren?
I'm still on Kylo Ren. So, but he is powerful, and he knows he can kill people with his lightsaber. He knows how to use the Force in nasty ways. He has his little torture chair that he mind reads Poe Dameron in, and then has a little mind battle with Rey, but that's when Rey learns, I might be just as powerful, if not more powerful than him.
Yes.
The Force, which is a great scene.
She has more midichlorians. I'll stop.
Yeah, enough with you.
Don't ruin this.
But yeah, it's just, I've never seen a Star Wars character be this torn between him. It's like he's tempted by the light side, whereas in the original trilogy, they're always tempted by the dark side.
Well, and I think that the reveal in Jedi is that Darth Vader always had the light side of the Force in him, but he had just reached a point of Zen darkness where he had ignored it and then funneled it into the idea that he could have his son become his apprentice.
Yep.
But it's like, no, dude, that you just know that you're doing the wrong thing, and that's kind of subtly revealed. But this is much more direct.
Yeah.
But then he kills Han Solo, forever cementing any Also, kills Han Solo not with the mask on, with the naked face, which, but there's no coming back from this Star Wars lore-wise.
Yep.
He will not become if he becomes a good guy, the end of that movie will be his death.
Yep.
There's no bringing this fool back.
No, not at all. And I like the moment when he's on the bridge, Han Solo comes down and he shouts Ben, and you learn his name's Ben Solo. So he's named after Obi-Wan, but like it stops him dead in his tracks. And then he takes the mask off. And looking his father in the eyes kills him.
Yeah.
And then pushes him over the edge. Han Solo's dead. Like, they didn't leave any death.
Well, he'll be back in like a comic book or like a video game, but canon-wise, fan fiction, he'll get a skeleton body, like a mechanical skeleton body and some bullshit. But
So, I mean, it's just, I cannot wait to see more Kylo Ren. Captain Phasma.
Wasted.
Gwendolyn Christie.
Wasted. Completely wasted.
She's coming back though. In the next movies. But I was like, this villain could. There's a lot going on in this movie. I know there's not room for everybody, but she didn't get to do a whole lot.
But she didn't get to do anything cool.
No.
She didn't do one thing cool. She never had a fucking gunfight with someone. She never, kicked someone's ass. All she did was yell at Finn one time and then get taken hostage and apparently getting thrown in a trash compactor.
Yep.
It's like, dude, if you're gonna throw someone in the trash compactor, throw some fucking random stormtrooper in the trash compactor.
Yep.
What?
But she is coming back for episode 8. It is confirmed.
I mean, I'm.
So we'll see what happens.
I would say listen. We went to the ArcLight in Hollywood, and they have Captain Phasma's fucking armor right there. And I mean, Emily was like, "Whoa, what is this?" I'm like, "This is the Chrome Trooper," and she's like, "What? Like, this is cool." I'm like, "Yeah, it is fucking cool." And then you watch the movie, and it's like, this character didn't do shit.
He didn't really.
Doesn't even try to do shit.
Yep.
Even fucking the Weasley brother tries to do some shit.
General Hux.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, he.
Oh, really quick, back to Kylo Ren. I do like how, and again, playing into the idea that he is not on the level that he wants to be. Fucking Weasley brothers, like, Kylo Ren, you suck.
Yep.
You made us. You told the troops not to go after the droid because you could break the girl, and then the girl escaped. This is your fault.
Yep.
So it's like Vader isn't taking shit from anyone, but Kylo Ren is taking shit from people higher than him.
Yep.
And I like that.
Yeah, Hux was a really interesting character. I hope he lived because he
did. He lived because he was told to get Kylo Ren and come back to the Emperor.
Yep.
But yeah, I think Captain Phasma. They should have given her a badass scene. Like, she does some cool shit.
Yeah.
And it's cool how she's a woman, but like, and then they should. You won't see her again.
Yeah.
Like she gets, like even give her a scene, like call her away. You know what I mean? Like the Emperor's like, return to me. I have something for you to do. It's like get her out of this fucking movie because the way they bitch her out, it just sucks.
Yeah. We'll see what happens though. So.
Do you want to talk about the Sith Lord, whatever his name is, Smog or whatever the fuck?
Smog.
What's it?
Supreme Leader Snoke.
Smog. Come on.
So he's only in like 2 scenes. And we only see him in a hologram.
Did you think that he was a giant at first?
Oh yeah. It was like,
like,
oh, this guy's huge.
Yeah.
But then it's a really big hologram.
Yeah.
So I like his design, and I have to say they did a really good job keeping it under wraps. Because like the Friday it came out, I typed it in to see if anybody had leaked a picture, and like I had to go deep into Google Images before I found what he actually looked like.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I didn't
There's
even.
lots of like, oh, he's a snake, or he's Darth Plagueis, or he's this thing, he's that thing. But I don't. He kind of looked like Peter Cushing in those old Hammer horror movies.
Yeah, he's all fucked up and scarred up, and his skull is cracked open.
Like the left side of his face is like completely caved in. So yeah, they barely touched the surface of this guy. We don't even really know where he is.
I think Luke did that to him.
Maybe.
That's my prediction.
But yeah, Andy Serkis, this is gonna be. He doesn't get a lot of room to breathe in here, but that's okay because this is gonna be our emperor basically.
And just like the other Star Wars movies as a template, we don't need to learn anything about him now.
No.
I'm cool with him just being like, hey, do what I say.
Yep.
I'm out. You know what I mean?
And he knows how to push Kylo Ren's buttons too.
Yeah.
He knows how to keep him in line.
They do a lot with a little with him. You know how they're like, I can feel the light tempting you. You got to kill your father.
Yep.
It's like that's a good like. You learn a lot about both of them in that scene. Mm-hmm. Whereas back to Captain Phasma, don't learn shit.
Yep. Bummer.
But it's a real bummer. Chrome that armor for nothing.
Yep.
Anything? So those are the new characters.
Yep. So.
I feel like Princess Leia was a little flat acting wise.
Yeah, she was.
But I don't.
Hard to say.
I want to say that's a choice because it's a woman who has gone through, who's seen too much at this point, where she's lost her kid, she lost her husband, she's lost her brother, she's been fighting the same war for 30 years, and she's a general. She's just kind of like tired of this shit.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it, it's
that's a
like,
good way to look at it.
I think that's there. I think that because when she's talking to Harrison Ford, she's not like actively mad at him. She's just like, like it's someone who's like reflected up on the bad shit that's happened to them.
Yeah, and it's like, and we learned in that short conversation, yeah, they were married, they had a child. Him going to the dark side basically caused them to separate, and Han Solo just went back to smuggling. He kind of hasn't done much with his life after that. Mm-hmm. So there's real like pain and hurt in just that one moment where they share together. Yeah. So
yeah,
Han Solo, Harrison Ford, fucking great in this movie.
Yeah, he's great. He has a lot of fun.
It feels like, Harrison Ford, he kind of plays Harrison Ford in a lot of movies, but mm-hmm. Han Solo is an actual character.
Right.
And he slipped back into those shoes and that vest.
Yeah.
And he absolutely felt like Han Solo. He's got the little smirks, his kind of quick comments and jokes. I like when BB-8's in the way and he goes, "Move, ball."
Yeah. They give him Han Solo-esque lines without it being a callback necessarily.
Yeah.
Like when she's like, "We're gonna jump to light speed right in the hangar." He's like, She's like, "Can you even do that outside of the vacuum of space?" And he's like, "I don't ask these questions until after I figured out the answer." So it's like, that's a Han Solo thing to say, as opposed to like some fan fiction or really. I mean, they do a couple callbacks, but they don't overdo them.
Yeah.
Like the best one is "Hug later."
Yep.
Escape now.
And yeah, when they get Phasma, and it's like, "What should we do with her?" He's like, "Is there a trash compactor?" To toss her in there.
It's a funny line, but
I know. It's a chump moment for Phasma.
Yeah, chumped her out, man. She's like a jobber. She's a ham and egger. She's going on to the next territory.
Yep.
If anyone gets these professional wrestling analogies I'm making right now, God bless you. God bless you.
Oh boy.
Do you want to get into nitpicks and stuff? Or you want to talk some more?
Let's talk. We talked a lot about the characters, talk about the story, the direction, J.J. Abrams, all that good stuff.
There was. Let's start with the effects, which are across the board very, very good, except for that one character that gives her the rations. That guy looks like a CG monster.
Simon Pegg plays that character.
Oh, does he?
Yep.
Does he?
Yep. That was I could tell by because there's that behind the scenes video where he's like in the suit and. You can tell by like the shoulders and the skin tone that's probably his character. So, but yeah, that's the body was practical, but the face was CG.
And it didn't blend well.
Yeah, it didn't. That one needed a month or two more.
And I also think the design of the character, where he's wearing these weird plates on his chest, it just doesn't feel real. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like.
Like I said, but that's really the only moment where it's like this effect's okay.
Yeah, everything else is great.
There's really great practical creatures. The CGI is pretty seamless and I feel never overdone, where you feel like you're watching a cartoon.
And they always give you, even when they're doing the action, it always feels like it's like my audience is eating it up, man. It's just like when the TIE fighter is zooming around, when they steal a TIE fighter and zooming around, you know what I mean? Like it just felt good. It felt cool.
It felt like Star Wars.
Yeah, it felt like Star Wars. Yep. So it's interesting to see. I mean, it's funny how. I don't know how much of it was, but I say there's lots of miniatures. I don't know how true that really is, but however they got to wherever they went, it was good.
Yeah, you never felt like you're looking at it and you go, "Oh, that's a CG shot."
That's a
practical effect. Like they've used every tool in the toolbox.
Right.
It made it look really good. Also, that big pig, he was awesome.
Yeah. So there's
a 14-foot puppet.
Yeah. Finn is drinking the water of like a beast of burden.
Yep.
And the pig's just like, "Get out of here, you! This is my fucking slop water." That's good.
But yeah, this story, we've said a few times on this podcast, story moves.
Yeah.
It does not take a breath. Mm-hmm. I think there are a couple scenes where it could have slowed down a little bit, i.e. Maz Kanata's castle, but this movie is like a freight train. just plowing to the next thing.
Yeah, and I mean, okay.
And I realized, because I rewatched the original trilogy before.
Oh, did you?
Those movies are extremely fast paced too, compared to a lot of stuff that comes out today. It's like those just clip along. There is no fat.
Well, famously, the first one was full of fat, and they just trimmed it all out, and it was like an awesome movie.
Yep.
A lot of like diatribes about, you know, fucking this, that, and the other thing, and politics and shit, and cut out all that fat, and then the whole movie just worked.
Yep.
And those two were made in the same vein. But yeah, I mean, and also, again, just enough, unlike the prequels, just enough political talk to frame the story, not enough to, like, you know,
build a whole movie.
not 20 minutes of what a vote of no confidence would do to the Senate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a lot of showing, not telling.
Right.
Whereas in the prequels, there's a lot of dialogue and a lot of long scenes explaining things. This one, it's just like with one or two looks, they'll get something across.
And a familiar plot to really put over the new characters.
Yep.
And that's another thing that we didn't talk about with the characters, but plays into the plot here, is like, this movie is, and even the way it's structured, where Leia has a couple of scenes, Han is in half the movie, but the second half of the movie, not the first half, he's in like the second half, and then he gets killed at the climax. You're really putting over Rey and Finn. Those are the stars of the movie.
Yep.
And Mark Hamill just has a little cameo at the end. So it's like the plot of the movie is about these people, you know, going from a scavenger and a stormtrooper into rebel fighters.
Yep.
And finding their force powers.
Yep.
That's the thrust of the movie. It's not Star Trek Generations where it's about how great Kirk is and how Picard will never be as good as Kirk. It's like, wait, what?
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, this movie, like, it's just fun, over.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, you don't even get a chance to, like, really sit and process a lot of it, which is why I want to see it again, which is why a lot of people are probably going to see it again.
Yeah, I feel like probably sometime over this Christmas break I end up seeing it again.
I'm definitely going again.
You know.
So, no question. So yeah, I mean, J.J. Abrams had probably one of the most unenviable tasks. Try and please, as we talked about, Star Wars fans who are very hard to please.
I
and
can't.
have very high standards.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
racist high standards.
To their little box.
Yeah, well, they're prejudiced. But and I want to get that in a second. But I do want to say that that's completely true. But at the same time, there's not really. If this movie came out and sucked, that would have been okay. But it's like there's only been 3 movies that sucked, so it's like it had nothing to lose by trying this, right?
Yeah.
Like, we roll the dice, introduce some new characters. I think it's gonna be a smashing hit, and people are gonna love these characters. But like, if it didn't work out, it would have been like, okay, it doesn't work out. Maybe these movies, it was just a thing for the 70s and the 80s. It doesn't, you can't do it anymore. It just doesn't. There's nothing to add to this story. You know what I mean? So I think it's like he got a free. It's like a free swing. You know what I mean?
But I mean, they spent $4 billion on this thing too.
That's true.
To just buy the name Star Wars, and to fuck up, that would not have been good for JJ.
It wouldn't have been good.
Like, there's
it would
so
no,
much
it wouldn't have
right
been
now.
good. But as a fan, okay, I'm talking about from the fan perspective. It's like we've already gotten 3 of the worst movies ever to match 3 of the best movies ever, right? So if this movie was in the middle, that's a victory,
Yeah.
right? If it was a mediocre movie, it's like, well, it's better than the worst movie ever.
Yeah.
But this movie's great, so it's like a win. It's like a win for everybody.
If I had to put it in a ranking, I think it's number 2
Wow.
behind Empire Strikes Back. So I want to put it about on the same level as Return of the Jedi.
I believe they just announced that they're going to re-release the originals without all the extra stupid shit.
I don't know if has it been an official announcement.
Have they not? It's
Lots
been
of
rumored forever.
Lots of rumors. I have not seen an official Disney sanctioned announcement.
Because
that
what I'm trying to say is I can't rate where I feel about this. I mean, I like this movie the best right now because it's made now. It's of the moment. It's of the time. So right now, it's like my favorite one. It's the one I want to revisit, and I don't want to revisit the other ones with all the extra garbage in it.
Yeah.
So
This is probably the best shot Star Wars movie.
you think so?
I think so. They use a lot of different camera moves, and things are shot in really creative but really purposeful ways. Especially the action scenes. They're just very kinetic. I like that, we see space battles like from the ground. We see stuff from the cockpit. We see a lot of things that you really haven't seen before in a Star Wars movie, which props to Dan Mindel, who's a great cinematographer who shot this, and he did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of really good, there's a lot of like hidden shots where it's like Han looking at Leia, Leia looking at Han, C-3PO just kind of falls into frame. Also, again, C-3PO and R2-D2 used in a way that feels fun, where it's like, oh, so great to see you. And he's like, oh, I bet you don't recognize me. I have this red arm.
Yep.
Oh, what a story that was. And it's like, we're not going to go back to that.
Yeah, they just, they do the fan service just enough, but not in a way that's really cloying. And they get out of there and they do their own thing. So, and like I said, lots of different kinds of shots, great lighting. The sets feel huge.
Yeah.
And real,
yeah,
tactile, which of course they were going for, but it's like the sense of scale they get. Like when Rey is standing next to the Star Destroyer, it's like you get a real good sense of how big that Star Destroyer is.
Right. And nothing ever feels like it's a set.
Yep.
Right? It feels like you're in a gigantic desert.
Yep.
And and then they have these little things that they do in these scenes that make them feel this way. So like, for example, when we first meet Rey, she's in the Star Destroyer picking up parts, and then she's at the top of it and she slides down a hill. You know what I mean? And that just that little thing that like it feels like something that you would figure out if you were at a place. And then there's another scene where they're on Han's freighter. She resets a button and it opens all these doors. And it's like, oh no, sorry, they're on the evil planet.
Yeah.
She hits a button and it opens all these doors, and it's like this huge hallway, and it just feels like, yeah, at the end of that hallway, there's more shit over there. You know what I mean? It never feels like oh, this, like, don't go around this corner. We never show it from this angle because we don't want to show you that this corner is just a fucking wood wall.
Yep. So yeah, it's again, they got to that. And they were striving for it, obviously, that real tactile, lived-in universe that you can touch and smell, and it's grimy, and it's lived in, and it just looked fantastic.
Yeah. I like Rey's like a little fudgicle vehicle.
Yeah.
Looks like a little fudgicle. And
I'd say USB drive, but yeah, I could buy fudgicle.
Whatever you want, but like it's like she's putting all the parts in a net that's like kind of like stapled to the side of it.
Yep.
It gives you that sense of like, yeah, like it's not this thing that's like, oh, there's a big basket in the front that you put all the shit into. It's like, this was not meant for that.
Yep.
She just figured that out.
Yep.
Which is, in the context of making up a universe that already exists, but, aging it 30 years, it's like, what was it supposed to be? So it's supposed to be like a single person, like, like a motorcycle kind of, and then now she's using it for scavenging because she has nothing.
Yep. And there's that great scene where she's eating alone in the desert next to her AT-AT that she lives in, just a fallen down AT-AT, and she puts on a Starfighter helmet, a Rebel Fighter helmet. It's just kind of like
hanging out
with that on. It's like that's just such a great little moment, and again, Daisy Ridley acted the shit out of it in the perfect way, and the shots, and like there's just these great moments that really sell this movie.
Completely agree. And again, I mean, we could bag on this prequels. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. But it's like, those movies were made predominantly with sets that are green screen. And it never fully worked. It was too early. It's too ahead of its time. It wasn't stylized enough. Something like a Sin City where you could get away with like making it look like comic booky in the background. You know what I mean? Like, this movie takes it back to like the idea. It feels, when you're in different locations in this movie, it feels like a whole different place. The Death Star planet feels like a different place than the desert planet. It feels like a different place than the Rebel headquarters. It feels like a different place than the planet that explodes. It feels like a different place than the starships that they see. You know what I mean? Everything feels like its own thing, which is great.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just, they really just hit this out of the park. And again, I had a big grin on my face the whole time. The jokes are funny. The action is thrilling. It feels like a Star Wars movie. JJ pulled it off. And I'm like at the altar of J.J. Abrams now. Just
interesting.
Like, he did it.
Interesting. Because you're not a huge J.J. Abrams fan, as we talked about in the first half.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not the biggest one, but
and
I have a soft spot for Super 8.
Super 8's great.
But
I like his shit. I like his
Mission Impossible 3 is good.
Yep.
I wasn't big on Star Trek. Mm-hmm. I felt like they were kind of just low-rent Star Wars movies.
And that's the thing, is that the Star Trek movies that he directed in this movie feel nothing the same.
No, not at all.
They're the same in that they're both science fiction. That is it. The genre that they would be categorized under is the same. That's it.
Yep.
like looks wise, style wise, everything else. No.
And no lens flares. Good job.
Not
JJ.
one. Not a one. And you could have done it on the desert planet and really gotten away with it because it's fucking, hot and shitty.
I think he had one when Ren is watching the Star Killer base beam shoot across the Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
And that's like the only one.
Right.
So
good for him.
good job, JJ.
And
Restraining yourself.
Last thing, just the last thing is about the writing. I just think that the writing is really strong, and there are small human moments from both characters that we've never met and characters that we already know. So when Daisy they're on this new planet and it's green, she's like, I didn't think that anything could be this green because she's only ever lived on this desert planet. That's really cool.
Yeah.
There's a really cool moment of like them really thinking about what's going on. And also when Han Solo's like, don't stare. And they're like, at what? And then he's like, everything. And then they go in and that never comes up again. But it doesn't feel like they forgot something. It feels like Han Solo fucked up something 20 years ago. And he's very like paranoid about it. Yep. And it's like, no, dude, like you pissed her off 20 years ago. That's you.
Yep. And yeah, the critters in that scene are really good too.
Cantina throwback.
Yep.
Yeah.
Little cantina throwback, but yeah, just all the little creature designs again make this world feel huge.
So we've talked about a lot of things that we liked, and overall this is a great movie. You should go see it. Totally top 10 list of the year.
Yep.
Duh, absolutely. But let's get some nitpicks here. What's your nitpicks?
Score was a little uninspired. I thought not John Williams' best score.
I'm like the classic iconic score, the other one.
Yeah, no, the new tunes weren't nearly as like iconic as the old ones, but it's also maybe I wasn't really paying attention hard enough because I was so focused on the story.
Yeah.
So, but I felt.
And also it's bad in the way that it is a nittiest of nitpick,
Yeah,
right? It's not like
it's not.
this score sucks.
It takes nothing away from the movie, unlike the Swedish version of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo,
or like X-Men 3, where it's this scene doesn't work, so we try to cover it up with music.
Yep. Yeah, it's not inoffensive, but when John Williams is making a score, you have a little higher expectation. Yeah. So I was like, it's okay.
I've already talked about Captain Phasma, which is, I covered. When the Stormtrooper wants to fight Finn hand to hand, he has no reason to do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just like have Finn just cut his blaster in half, and then he's like, traitor, and he takes out his fucking, his Stormtrooper like billy club thingy, and then they fight. You know what I mean? Like just that one extra little bit, just to sell you on why he would do it. Because the way it's presented, he just throws down his gun in anger, and he's just like, you and me, we're gonna fight man to man. It's like, fuck this dude. What are you talking about?
That's a good point. And also, Finn has a lightsaber at that point, so
yeah, like you have a gun. Like, it's just a weird scene. Could have been fixed with one little thing.
It's a good fight, but kind of an odd scene.
Yeah.
In the same way. So.
You want to get any cool stuff? I mean, I got no other nitpicks in that.
BB-8 is great.
BB-8,
great little droid.
He could have been a racist droid to match all the racist Star Wars fans, but he wasn't. He was great.
And his little lighter thumbs up.
Yeah,
that's good shit.
Also, I mean, so many moments like that of humor in this movie that work, where the prequels failed.
Yep.
Like, there's lots of things in common. In the prequels, there's a big fish that eats another fish. In this movie, there's these big monster things that eat the space pirates, right? There's R2-D2 has all these extra things that we never knew he has, like rockets and things. And in this one, BB-8 has a little flame thingy. He uses it to give a thumbs up. He has a little shooty up like cords that he
grappling hooks that he can kind of climb up things. So yeah, he's just a great little droid.
Also, the great scene where he's going down some stairs and he's like looking and he's like,
Yep. He kind of goes down the stairs like Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, he's just like,
kind of one at a time.
Yeah, like,
boom.
Oh, I do not like this. Boom. I do not like this. And then like when it's like they're gonna hide in the Millennium Falcon and he hands it to Finn and he's like, because he's like way heavy. It's great stuff. Poe and Finn being instant best friends, we talked about it, but it just bears repeating. Those moments feel so good.
Yep.
So good.
We know in the next movie, because Rey is with Luke, like they're gonna have their own little adventure,
which I look forward to.
Anyway. And yeah, that's probably the coolest thing in this is I want so much more.
Yeah, that is the ultimate penultimate cool thing is that you feel like they want to make another Star Wars movie every year, and you feel like based off this shit, maybe not forever, but
maybe.
I mean, they're doing it with the Marvel movies, so you can say like, yeah, dude, like make like one a year. Why not?
Yep. do it. All for it.
Oh, also, Daisy Ridley is gorgeous.
Oh, yeah.
That girl looks good body-wise, also face-wise.
Yep. It's a fine specimen.
And also British accent, love it.
I like girls with big teeth too. she's got some big chompers.
I did not think the teeth were going to be what you like the big of. And the thing I thought you said, she does not have a big.
I think it's cute.
Big teeth?
Big teeth. I don't know. I just like it.
Yeah, you like those chompers.
Just big old chompers.
Hey, man. She's pretty.
She's a pretty girl.
So, good for you, Daisy Ridley. And also, respect your character.
And man, came out of nowhere too.
Yeah, like, she's not really a known entity, right?
She's like on a BBC show and is on like Broadway sometimes. Like, just, I don't know where they found her, but good job to that casting director.
Yeah, killed it.
Yep.
All of the Star Wars-y stuff works. The big universe, the alluding to things that we've never seen, the callbacks to stuff that we've already seen, the acknowledgement of what's come in the past and where they've gone, right? The planet is littered with garbage of a war that happened above it. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that everything they allude to that happened between these two movies could be its own thing. It all works. It all feels like, hey, it's the Star Wars universe, man.
Yep.
There's no end to it and there's no beginning. It just is.
Never forced. It is a Star Wars movie.
And my last thing I got here is all the new people are put over. They put over BB-8, they put over Rey, they put over Finn. You know what I mean? It's like we're establishing new stars. We're building up the next generation, not at the expense of the other one. And we're building up even the villains, except for Captain Phasma. Even the villains, like, you know, fucking Rilo Ken kills his own father. It's like
Kylo Ren.
What? I just mixed that up, didn't I?
It happens.
He kills his own father. It's like you're putting him over like he's a villain. You know what I mean? How can you match Darth Vader? It's like, this is how. Darth Vader never killed anyone that we really liked. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, he kind of kills some toadies.
Yeah, he killed some toadies. You know, he slapped Lando in the face, but he never killed anyone that we like.
That's a good point.
You know? So, that threat is real. You know what I mean? And now we're going to be looking at these movies. Killing off Han Solo, it's going to be controversial, but it was so smart because now we're going to look at that old generation and we're like, who's next? Right? Is Luke going to make it out of this thing? Is he going to take the Darth Vader role in the third one where he dies? Because you could argue that the first tragic death is Ben Kenobi, right?
Yep.
And then that's analogous to Han. And then in the third one, who's going to be the Vader death? It's going to be Luke? I don't know. But it's possible now. They're willing to kill off these major characters.
Yep. Anything could happen. And yeah, Harrison Ford, you finally got your wish, but I hope you had fun making it.
It seemed like there was a lot of misery. And then all of a sudden he got soft on it, and then now he's back and now he's dead.
Well, I think, again, yeah, JJ convinced him, like, we're doing this for the right reasons. You know, we're not just going to stick you in here and make you say things. We're going to make an honest-to-God character, and you're going to have great moments. And,
right.
And then you're going to die.
and all of what we're talking about, I think this movie stacks, and when I say the rest of the saga, I mean the first three, stacks up to the original trilogy, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think this movie feels like it's in that universe and appropriately, aged.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely no question.
Yeah. So it's a great thing, and I mean, like, the newcomers, I don't know if they're going to be as iconic as the old people because we don't. In 20 years we can answer that question, but we're off to a good start.
Yeah, but the new generation of Star Wars fans this is going to make, that's going to be their Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and C-3PO.
And as an old man who grew up with this thing, I'm not mad at that.
No.
I'm not like, no, it's all about R2-D2. It's like, no, you can have BB-8. That's cool.
That little BB-8 toy, that thing is great.
Yeah, I got to get that now. I was holding off. Maybe he was going to suck.
Yeah,
but he was good.
Maybe he was going to be the Emperor. Maybe he was going to be Snoke. And then all of a sudden it's like this cute little thing.
That would be awesome.
But yeah, I'm like, give it all to me now. I'll take it.
Rey is the main character. In the end of the movie, she takes the Falcon. She's teamed up with Chewie and R2-D2, who are perennial favorites, right? The only way that she can be more pushed is if they gave her fucking Boba Fett. You know what I mean? She defeats Ren and she finds Luke. So early and we've talked about this, in the first half, we talked about this off fucking this podcast, but it's like, this movie, the early stuff came out on this movie, the first trailer, and there was a lot of racism, a lot of prejudice, a lot of old man yelling at cloud. Like, they're just making it about a chick and a black guy because we live in a PC world kind of bullshit. And now this movie came out, and it's on track to do Bobo numbers at the box office. Estimated $225 million opening weekend, which is going to best Jurassic World.
$50 million on a Thursday.
Right.
Half of a Thursday.
So, are people, and this is more than a Star Wars question, do you think that the people, and specifically the movie-going public, do you think that they're reactively prejudiced?
I think it's the media trumping it up, because almost literally trumping it up to just,
Also,
I don't think
no one can see this, but I'm giving Kevin the
a knowing point.
A knowing point. Like, I see what you did there, you motherfucker.
I think it's a way. I don't think a majority of the world believes any of that shit. I think it's one or two voices that are loud and then amplified.
Right.
By just people wanting to drum up a story.
And they also say such hateful, crazy things that it's very easy to be reactive to them when they start throwing around pejorative slang, pejorative words, and really not saying, like, I didn't like this Star Wars thing, I think it won't be good. It's like, fuck that bitch. She could go die. You know what I mean?
Knee-jerk reactions to anything that takes on their little establishment, which is very small and petty. And
on your Twitter account, you're calling someone the N-word while your Twitter handle is your first name _ your last name.
Exactly.
So it's like, if you Googled it turns out you think John Boyega should be lynched. Like, you're a monster.
Jesus. I mean...
But you think it's just loud voices being amplified. It's interesting the way you said that.
Yeah, I think sometimes the loudest, stupidest people are the ones that trump their opinions so big all the time. And it's, in this day and age, there's a great line in The Social Network where Rooney Mara's character says the internet is ink. Like, it's permanent. It's there. And nobody's really seen the repercussions yet of that, I don't think, in a way. Where it's like, we got our own little rave going here. The siren.
She said the internet is ink.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen the repercussions of that. And that's an interesting thing, right? Like, will people's crazy comments come back to haunt them? Maybe, maybe not. Will that eventually give us a more tempered society where it's like, oh, this isn't, like, we'll look back and say, like, all these MySpace blogs I wrote about bullshit that didn't matter, like, will we change the society and be like, maybe we shouldn't just start putting our opinions out off our gut reactions?
Yeah.
And it's also like, a lot of times there's this phony thing about keeping it real where something will happen and someone will be like, well, you should go off your gut reaction to it. But it's like, your gut reaction off something is not always how you feel about it. Your gut reaction is your gut reaction. Yep. And you sit about it, think about it, and you're like, no, this is how I feel about it. You know what I mean?
My gut reaction when J.J. Abrams announced as director, I was like, God damn it, no, I don't want that. And now, it's like,
right.
I'm completely
but maybe even 20 minutes later, you're like, well, but he has a lot of.
He's actually a Star Wars fan. But
right.
He's actually.
They spent $4 billion on this. They got Kathleen Kennedy. Like you can say, well, they got to make it good because they can't afford to make it bad. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
So it's like, I just think that. I think I'm a little bit more cynical than you. I think it's a little bit of both. I think that people are reactionarily racist and prejudiced.
Yeah.
And but I do think those same people are at the theater today. I think they're gonna go see this fucking movie and be like, it's great. You know what I mean? It's like, well, then, boy, what the fuck were you so pissed off about? Like, really examine yourself, bro.
This movie's gonna kill him with kindness.
Yeah.
It's just, it stands on its own merits. Mm-hmm. It's not good because the lead is black and there's a woman in the lead as well. It's good because they're good characters and it's a good story.
Right. And also, like, the motivation to do that. And also, what really annoys me when people are like, oh, it's a PC world. It's like, it's not a PC world. People want basic human respect, right? If you're a black guy, you don't want to be called words that offend you.
Yeah.
Because it's like a weird thing. It's like, back in the day, people could say those words and you didn't have the right to speak back to them. But now we've evolved past that. So if you do say something like, oh, black people love, fucking fried chicken and Cadillacs, right? It's like, hey, man, that fucking hurts my feelings. You shouldn't say that. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, it's like, oh, you can say, oh, that's PC. It's like, that's not PC. People are asking you to have respect for fucking people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think sometimes it can go too far when it's like, oh, we need to change a manhole cover into a person hole cover. It's
Yeah.
But that stuff gets tempered really quickly.
Right.
But yeah, it's the basic human, like, treat people with respect the way you would treat, the way you should treat anybody else, you know, kill them for their character, not their just outward appearance. You know?
Right.
How many times did Martin Luther King say that?
Well, no one was listening, homie. That's what we fucking learned, is that, he said it, but...
Judge not by the color of the skin, but by the content of the character.
It's a Nirvana lyric, It knows all the words, but doesn't know what it means.
Yep.
Back to fucking Star Wars. A lot of plot elements left open for future shit. You got the Knights of Ren, which is very quickly alluded to.
That was the one I was hoping I'd finally figure out who they were, and now I gotta wait. But I cannot wait to figure out who they are.
Rey's parentage, Max von Sydow's character, or Sydow if you will. Yep. Ren and Vader's obsession. Do you think that it's good to keep it mysterious? Do you think that maybe they didn't have enough time to get into all of this? Too many loose threads? And which one of those do you want them to answer?
I definitely want the Knights of Ren answered. 'Cause I'm curious
So
who they are.
Kylo Ren is a title,
Yep.
like a group.
Yep. So I want to know where they came from. Who were they amongst the dead in that quick little shot where they're in the rain?
It's raining, and then you see Luke and R2-D2 chilling, and then there's our boy Kylo Ren, but there's also a couple guys behind him, and you're like, yeah,
with some also gnarly looking weapons.
Yeah.
Also gnarly looking masks. Who are they? And how did how did Ren get Vader's helmet? And also there's a part I noticed when he takes his mask off, he puts it in a bowl or something.
Yeah, it's full of dust, chalky dust.
Is that Vader's ashes, do you think?
I think so.
Yep. That's what I was thinking as soon as I saw that.
I don't need to know about Max von Sydow's character. I don't think that really matters.
I mean, they referred to him as an old ally in the opening crawl.
Right.
But it'd be curious to see, how is he connected to Luke? Because obviously he has the piece that, Luke probably gave that to him. His true location.
Right.
So I am curious to learn who he is, but I don't need a long, protracted thing telling me who he is.
I mean, I would be happy if on, Star Warspedia, there's just a little article on him, but, movie-wise, he died in the first 5 minutes.
Yep.
He's not that important. You know what I mean? Sorry.
Yep.
But... Knights of Ren, I think that's interesting. I'm actually not interested in Rey's parentage. I don't think that matters.
Interesting.
I mean, I thought at first she was going to be like Han Solo's kid for some reason. Or maybe she's going to be Luke's kid.
There's a lot of people speculating it's Luke's daughter.
But whoever dropped her off on this planet to be a slave, basically, is a fucking asshole.
Yep. But we'll find out why, I'm sure.
I don't know. I don't need to know that. I don't really care. The Ren Vader obsession, I feel like, is already kind of explained. At some point, Luke gave him because Luke had the fucking helmet, right? Because he's the one who...
They burned it.
Right.
On Endor.
Right, but I guess you could assume that... I guess assumptively you could think that no one else would really have wanted it other than Luke and Leia.
Yeah.
So they must have... One of them must have given it to him at one point, and then he just became obsessed with it. Yep. But it'll be interesting. I think that could be explored interestingly. I don't know if there's an interesting answer to Rey's parentage. I don't know. Maybe there is.
We'll
Chewbacca's daughter? Could be.
That could be a good time.
Fucked up, Chewbacca. You're fucked up. In the end, I'm going to answer this for you. This movie does work. This movie is great. We both like it. If you're listening to our voices, you should have already seen it. If you have not seen it, even though we spoiled everything for you, it is a experience.
It really is. See it with a crowd. It's great with lots of people. I want to see it again desperately. I just cannot wait to see it.
You're just going to leave here and just hit up the ArcLight?
I might run over to ArcLight. Give them that Cinerama Dome. Just watch it.
Stand in the back. Hopes, plot ideas for episode 8 and 9. We could just, whatever you want.
I can't wait to see Rey and Luke working together.
Well, I can't say...
not just learn their history, but what are they going to do? Is Rey happy to even find Luke? Or is she pissed off at him? Is Luke completely cynical about the world now?
Yeah.
And needs to be brought back. There's a lot to explore there.
Right. It's interesting because, I think Rey, R2-D2, Chewbacca, and Luke. That's a really great like quartet of things that he could teach himself about the Force. It's interesting because there's no one left to teach our boy Finn about the Force.
Yep.
So that'll be interesting. But I do look forward to a Finn.
The Finn and Poe bro down.
Yeah,
that's gonna go down.
Yeah, with C-3PO and BB-8.
Yeah.
So that quartet's gonna be fun.
That'll be a good time.
I want some quality Captain Phasma time. I want to see what's going on with that. They need to justify that character.
Yes, they do.
And I do want to see what happens with Kylo Ren and the new Emperor guy. I want to see where that takes us. And I think they need to bring in the Knights of Ren and like see what that is. Because like.
That's the one I'm most intrigued by.
Are they still on the dark side? Maybe some of them have come over to the light side. That would be. I think that's. And if I was to play armchair writer here, armchair quarterback, that's why I want to go. Is that you introduce some new Force sensitive characters on both sides of the conflict.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And Benicio del Toro is gonna be in Episode 8.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Who is Daniel Craig in this movie?
He was the stormtrooper that Rey mind controls when she's. In
Oh,
the
really?
chair. Yeah, so, which is a great scene, because she tries it once, it fails. Tries it again, he starts getting agitated, he's like, I'll make these shackles tighter, And then she kind of learns to let go, and then does it, and then, he's like, I will undo the shackles. He goes, and drop your weapon. And he goes, and I drop my weapon.
Yeah, that's great.
So, that was, Daniel Craig one day on set. So.
Apparently, Kevin Smith is also in a cameo in this movie, probably under some heavy makeup.
Yeah, I didn't see him.
And apparently, when he visited the set, there was posters all around that said "Loose ships sink starships."
Yep. Loose lips sink starships.
Yeah, loose lips sink starships. Funny.
Yep. I think I also read Michael Giacchino is a stormtrooper. He's a composer that's worked with JJ a lot.
Yeah. And he's JJ Abrams' composer on every movie except for this one.
Yep.
And he's like, no, give it to John Williams.
And apparently Nigel Godrich, who is a producer of Radiohead, is also a stormtrooper.
Fuck, I want to be a stormtrooper. Goddamn.
Give me a call, JJ or Ryan Johnson. I'll fly to London. I'll be a stormtrooper.
I'll be a Boba Fett the third.
Yeah, why not? So.
Okay, also, if we want to talk about things we don't want to see any more Boba Fett.
No.
He's done.
I don't really want to see any bounty hunters at all.
I think there's instead of bounty hunters, Knights of Ren instead of the bounty hunters.
Yeah, well, I feel like we got that whole seedy side of the galaxy already. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't mind seeing a new Hutt, though. Like a Jabba.
Oh, yeah, like Jed the Hutt.
Yeah, I mean, just...
Billy the Hutt.
Renfro the Hutt.
Yeah.
I just want to see... a new Hutt could be so interesting.
And I also don't need to go back... I don't need to go back to any planet that we've already been to, but if we were to go back to those planets, as long as it's justified, I'm okay with it. Also, to throw it into George Lucas's face, it'd be cool to go back to some of the planets that he introduced and do them correctly. Like a planet that's like where they built all the clones, which is always like
Camino.
Yeah, Camino would be cool.
That could be. I think this isn't the first line of this movie kind of a George Lucas diss.
What is it?
It says this will begin to make things right. Is the first line.
Who says that?
Max von Sydow. He hands Poe the little chip.
I wouldn't put it past J.J. Abrams.
This will begin to make things right. It's like that's kind of a burn right off the bat.
Any fan theories other than that one?
Snoke is Yoda-sized.
Oh, interesting.
My fan theory.
Interesting.
I think he's small. Or he's obviously not 25 feet tall, like his hologram is.
Right.
I don't think, but I think he might be really small. But incredibly dangerous, like Yoda, like a dark side Yoda. So yeah, that's my little theory.
My only fan theory is that J.J. Abrams purposely made that the first line to be like, "Fuck you, George Lucas."
Pretty much.
That's it for us.
Go see Star Wars, the biggest movie of the year. It lived up to the hype. I'm so happy that it's here.
Before we get out of here, I just want to say, Kev wrote this episode. I hosted this episode. I'm Mr. Jibber Jabber. Kev also hosted this episode. His name's Kevin. Music by Jeff Russell. May the Force be with you, motherfuckers.
May the Force be with us all. Also, Admiral Akbar came back.
Oh my god, so good!
Let's get some more Admiral Akbar.
Oh, that's my fan theory. Admiral Akbar, traitor.
Oh, no.
No.
That would ruin everything.
That couldn't happen.
It's a trap. Have a good one, everybody. I know you're recording.
5, 4, 3, 2. Starring Star Wars newcomers John Boyega, Daisy Ridley, Oscar Isaac, Adam Driver.
Try that again.
Starring
It's Ridley, Daisy Ridley, like
Ridley?
Ridley Scott. Daisy Ridley. Oh, me talk.
yeah.
me talk now.